NBA and NHL free agency rolls on. The Celtics have signed Jason Tatum to the NBA's richest deal, 5 years, $314 million. Bruins signed Elias Lindholm forward to a 7-year, $54.25 million deal. Lindholm is 29 years old. He had 5 goals and 5 assists in 13 playoff games in 2024. Boston also signed defenseman Nikita Zadorov to his 6-year, $30 million contract. Both played in Vancouver last season. Jake DeBrusk, he heads to Vancouver on a 7-year deal. Red Sox, they are back tonight to face Miami Marlins. Cutter Crawford gets the start for the Sox. Crawford is 3-7 with a 3.59 ERA on the year. Sox are 8.5 games behind New York and Baltimore in the AL East. They are a game and a half out of the wild card race. And the U.S. men's national team lost 1-0 to Uruguay in the Copa America. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Valvoline. Enjoy quick and convenient vehicle maintenance this month. Visit NewEnglandOilChange.com for 15% off your drive-through oil change service at Valvoline Instant Oil Change, now open in Franklin, Billerica, and Peabody. I'm Mike Lockhart, and Boston's home for sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
You want to talk sports? We want to talk sports.
Squeeze the chicken and open the mouth.
Like we were meant for each other.
This is why you need us.
98.5 The Sports Hub. We're back with Toucher and Hardy on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Afraid, hello. Hello. Hello.
Mm-hmm.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
He's naked. He has a sword.
Open him up with a football.
98.5! The Hub!
Bruins are back from the West Coast.
Cocaine and hookers, yes. Na.
Is it okay to use this for the radio?
Welcome to the show.
Do that. I can do that. I can go there.
For the people on YouTube, you want to do that?
Oh, I can go. I like some live stuff now.
Yeah, you do?
Turn up loud. Oh, yeah. Oh, we had a great day yesterday.
Yeah, System of a Down yesterday.
Oh, we had a great day.
Was it Cigaro?
I don't know.
What song was it?
I know one of theirs, and it wasn't that.
Jeez, now I can't.
Yeah, put you on the spot.
I heard System of a Down at Lewis's in Norwood last night. I'm like, oh, this takes me back to being in
Oh, it was Ariel's
Okay.
System of a Down, yep.
Brings me back. I can still go for some System of a Down. I played that for my girlfriend recently. I'm like, here, I want you to hear this. She was not a fan.
No?
What is the girlfriend like? This is always fascinating to me because, hey, we're together. There's certain things in common, but usually music, a lot of you may have different musical tastes. What is she into?
So she's a 30-year-old from Walpole. So
Okay.
that
So
means
what does that
She
mean?
likes country music.
So that means she likes country
My scouting
music.
report.
No, she likes wearing cowboy hats and cowboy boots because,
Yeah.
again, she's so country.
From Walpole.
Because she's from Walpole.
Right.
Oh, yes.
Country.
Yes. It's like your dad worked for Blue Cross. Like, you're not country, honey. Like, that's not. But, she's, very into it like every other 30-something-year-old from any generic Boston suburb who all think they're country.
Do you like this relationship or not?
He's just spitting the truth right now.
You're trying to break up on the radio?
Do you think she's awake right now at 6 a.m?
Probably.
You're awake.
She'll hear
Mike.
about it.
You're awake,
Oh,
Mike
man,
Holley.
I'm hyped.
You're good to go.
I'm ready, man. I'm ready.
What time was your TV hit last night?
11:23 or something like that. 11:24, talking about all kinds of stuff because there's plenty to talk about.
There was.
And they didn't ask me about the number one story. Their number one story was not our number one story. Their number one story, you want to take a guess?
Karen Reed.
Karen Reed.
Yes.
Which Lockhart is totally into.
Well, yeah, I mean, who
What
isn't
a trial. That
somewhat
trial,
captivated by it at this point,
Then and it's almost like, mistrial?
Yeah, well, you kind of knew that was coming.
Yeah, all right.
So again, I was out in Norwood last night. Norwood on the Canton.
Yeah.
Road.
Also
very
country.
Yeah.
Yes, no, the most country, where every girl from Norwood wears cowboy boots and cowboy hats when they go to their Morgan Wallen concert. I'm so country. No, you're not. So of course Karen Reed comes up at the bar, and I'm thinking, should we really be talking about this here? I guarantee you the person next to it knows these people.
Oh,
and
that's right.
Yes,
Oh,
they're
yeah.
all dirty. Of course they're all dirty.
Yeah.
We know they're all dirty. But yeah, it's like, why don't we talk about something else right now? Also because I haven't followed it as much as everybody else. But it was fascinating.
Yeah.
So they asked you about that
No,
instead
no,
of the
they
Celtics sale?
they didn't ask me about that. I was saying that was their number one story because I thought, okay, with all the the Celtics news, I got to be ready at 11 because they'll probably put me in off the top. Hey, we're gonna go to you early because our number one story is the Celtics. Wick Grossbeck says he's gonna sell a majority stake. Nope, no. We'll get to you because we got about 22 Karen Reed stories before we get to the Celtics.
We have to do every single angle on those stories, Holley, don't you?
Right.
Everybody,
you have to interview Turtle Boy.
the
You have to-
supporters,
Right.
wearing the pink. We love Karen. Karen's great. We love her.
And you got to imagine the people watching the news at that hour care about that more than sports.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Do they think they care about sports at all?
Zero.
Not one bit.
No.
Not
You're like, get this guy out of here.
one bit. How much time did they give you last night, Holley, at 11:22?
I think it was 22 to 24 or 24 to 26.
Well, you got 2 full minutes.
2 minutes.
That's it. I mean, seriously,
2 minutes.
for local news,
Somewhere
that's a big
between-
dedication to sports.
And I don't know if it was 2. It may have been 90 seconds. 90 seconds. Take the intro and outro. Maybe let me take it down to 80.
Did it feel like 2? Was it one of those long ones?
No, it was quick. No, it never feels long.
Yeah.
It was a quick one.
Is TV easy?
No, it's different. It's just different. Like radio, just think about Windows. Think about Windows, McCarthy. It's like the window
Like
on
an
radio
Anderson
is,
window? Like a nice window?
Well, or a Ty Anderson window where there's like a lot of space where you can kind of take your time with it. And but TV window is just tighter. So you got, on radio, you can kind of stretch this thing out, 35 to 45 seconds at a time, realistically. And then on TV, it's like 10 to 12. So it's just different. It's got to be a little tighter.
What's your preferred medium? TV
Oh,
or
so
radio,
you
the
can't
long
give
form?
me-
Come on.
No, listen.
No, I need an answer. I need a take. This is a take business.
No, don't have a take on this.
What do you make more money at? We'll go with that one.
Well, right now, based on the rate I'm getting right here, can I? Hey, McCarthy wants to break up on the radio. I want to negotiate on the radio.
I am a union president. I don't know if you'd heard that, Mike.
I'm like, this is crazy. You know this?
No.
Jalen Brown McCarthy, right here.
Really?
He is
Our
the president.
union?
Yes.
I'm not even in any union.
You didn't even know this?
I'm not in the union. I don't know.
I found out the other day that I'm union president.
Oh.
Yeah.
He just kind of.
How did you get that job?
He kind of stumbled into the presidency.
Well, that was like one day somebody was like, "Are
Hey,
you in the
you.
union?" And I was like, "I was never asked to be in one." So, 15 years later, here we are. So,
And they asked you in?
no,
Oh,
no.
We don't want that guy. Come on. So, doesn't he have scab written all over him?
Oh,
Lockhart?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm showing up while everybody's outside picketing.
well, listen. You got that potential if you're here on July 2nd.
Yes.
July, like we're kind of those people.
I'm just saving up days for later
July
in the summer,
2nd.
So,
What are we doing
Lockhart's
here
do-
on July 2nd?
Lockhart's done it right. Anybody in sports talk radio who takes this week off clearly is not dedicated to the job.
Or
right.
you could reframe it that way.
Yes, look at how much there is to talk about. I would so much rather. You see, the smart ones, they take their week off and they'll be All-Star week.
Right.
They have it figured out.
That's a terrible week, yeah.
As somebody who spent some time with Jim Murray yesterday, he said, I learned my lesson. Never again will I take the week of the 4th off. Never, because there's stuff to talk about.
Sure.
Usually is. By the way, can I confess something here?
Please.
I got a confession. So it was kind of I came in this morning, Lockhart, and elevator door opens. Who's there? McCarthy. Kind of like running the elevator. He's like the elevator guy.
Yeah.
So
It's a union gig.
Multiple drops around here.
Exactly. So he starts talking, and it was a little weird for about like the first 10 or 15 minutes talking to him because I'm so used to hearing Fred do the McCarthy.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Those Red Sox.
So how do you I kind of want to interview you. How do you feel about Fred's impersonation of you? Like, what's the accuracy?
Oh, yes. No, I don't think it's accurate one bit.
But
I think that's
what makes it funny?
That's what
Right.
makes it good because it's so out there. I will never forget Hardy coming to me and saying, have you heard Fred do the you voice? I'm like, yeah, I have. He's like, what do you think of it? And I said, I think it's legitimately funny. I do. And Hardy said, yeah, because it doesn't sound anything like you.
Right.
And it's just so out there. And it's such this characterization. No, I mean, somebody asked me this yesterday out on the golf course. They're like, hey, what do you think of Fred's voice? I said, no, it's legitimately funny.
Right.
And anytime I'm
It's
in with Fred,
good
I'll do the
content.
voice
It's the
back.
content.
I'll do the voice back to him. Like, oh, no, those Red Sox.
So
like, it's a pretty easy thing to do.
the morning after the Celtics won the championship, Matt was in, and he's the first voice I hear when I get in the car. And all I wanted it was you to be railing against the Red Sox at that point, just to go with Fred. Yes, you just get in there. That
After the
damn Red
Celtics
Sox.
win.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you see Cutter Crawford yesterday?
Terrible.
Awful. Terrible. They stink. I do enjoy it. It's
Why
fun.
why did he go there though? Why did he dig deep to that what is it? What do you have any thoughts on it?
I don't
Any
know.
analysis of how he got there?
I
Why
mean,
that voice?
Maybe Fred just wants me to be something that he wants me to be. Maybe this is the reason behind the divorce. I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure about it. So I'm not here to psychoanalyze Fred Toucher or anything like that.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
No, it's
Be
a
here all
scary
day.
place. No, you don't really want to go down that road. But I'm happy to be anything Fred wants me to be.
No, it's good stuff though, man.
Oh no, it's all in good.
It's good. It's good to be here with the real article.
The me.
Yeah,
The real me.
you. The real you.
Well, I mean, maybe there is a little bit of part of me that's like, oh, those Red Sox, they stink. They stink. And you know what? They kind of have stunk recently. We'll take phone calls early and often today. I know, Lockhart, you guys generally don't take phone calls, right?
We don't really get calls. So we take them usually when we get them. But yeah,
We'll
we
take
don't
phone
get too
calls
many.
today. I mean, listen, it's July 2nd. Who really is going to work on July 2nd?
A lot less people today than yesterday, I can tell you that.
Really?
Yeah.
And yesterday was not bad at all.
Yeah.
I was out in the morning, and no, it was not bad at all. But
So when's it get crazy? When's the traffic? Was that tonight? Tomorrow?
No idea.
I think last week is when it got
Last
crazy. I
week.
don't think anybody's working this week.
Yeah.
That's why you have us.
Except for us.
Well, again, I think we have it figured out. This is the week to work in Sports Talk Radio. Next week, not so much. 2 weeks from now, really not so much.
I was talking about this with Hardy, and he's like, I'm going to get annoyed because he's going to be around all week. I'm going to be annoyed by Thursday or Friday. I should have worked this week. And I was like, there's been many Christmas weeks where by Thursday or Friday, I'm like, why am I not working a day or two?
Christmas week is a great week for Sports Talk Radio.
Yeah.
4th of July week is a great week for Sports Talk Radio. And I'm not
agree.
just saying that because
No,
I work
seriously,
Christmas
you're right,
week
right.
and I work 4th of July. There's stuff to talk about.
Sure.
The worst week of the year, swear to God, it's February vacation week.
Yeah.
Bruins are always out west because you got Disney on Ice here. The Celtics are on the 17-day NBA All-Star break.
Weren't the
Whoa,
Bruins
whoa.
off this year, too?
I
Wasn't there
think
like
they
a
were. They had
gap
their
in
bye week.
play? Yeah.
Yeah.
And Lockhart knows this. You know why February vacation is also the worst week?
Why is that?
Because the kids are off.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, that's
The kids are around. The kids are
Exactly.
around.
right. And they
You
want to
got-
be entertained.
You got to deal with them. You got to
Disney on
deal with.
Ice.
Shout out to all the teachers. Thank you.
The best.
Thank you, teachers.
Including my girlfriend, who apparently I've now broken up with on the radio.
On
because
the
I've-
radio as she slept. Come on, that's worse than like texting a breakup.
There's no that she's a teacher. You think she's up at 6 a.m. at this time of year? No way. All right, we got room for you at 617-779-0985. A lot to get to. What happened last night? Is that what we do at 6:20? What happened
That's
yesterday?
typically what we do, yeah.
Nothing happened at all yesterday. I mean,
Not
what,
enough time for that segment.
What
right?
what are we going to talk about today?
There's a couple
lot.
MLB games.
Sure, right. I mean, the Red Sox were off, but I mean, can we talk about the Copa America?
Oh, yeah. 1-0.
I mean, in all seriousness, I'll give you 30 seconds later today on the Copa America.
All
I
right.
will.
If you got it.
Only 30 seconds?
I mean,
Because you may need more time. Than
do you
that.
want more than 30 seconds? I can give you more than 30
Probably
seconds.
about 45. 45 seconds.
All right, that's like the sweet spot in
All
there.
right, that's it. 45.
That's like a TV.
Remember we talked about. I told you about
That's a TV
windows,
window
man.
right there.
Bring it back to the window.
That's right. Let's do that. And of course, the Celtics sale, the Bruins moves yesterday. Ton to get to. We will do that. It's Matt McCarthy, Mike Holley, Mike Lockhart in for the guys.
You're listening to Toucher and Hook.
Part you 617-779-0985. What happened yesterday, Mike Holley? I was busy. I was golfing. What happened?
Bruins signed some players.
Few guys, right?
Big time. That was the number one story in Boston yesterday. The Bruins signed 2 game-changing players.
They did, and nobody talked about it because the
that wasn't the number one.
No, because the Celtics are for sale. Did Wick Grossbeck tell Paul Pierce something about the Celtics a little while back? Is that right, Ryan Beaton?
The valuation is $4.1 billion, around there, roughly speaking. So,
Paul, I'm sorry, it's not for sale.
4.1. He said, "Love, not money." What if somebody, Elon Musk be like, "Hey, I got $10 billion."
Oh, I don't think he knows if a basketball is blown up or stuffed.
$20 billion.
Come on, it's not for sale.
$4.7 billion the Celtics are worth, and they are for sale. Wow.
Yeah.
Who saw this one coming?
Shocking.
We should have.
You think we should have?
Yeah, we should have. We should have seen it coming. The reason we didn't, because we don't think like we think like fans. We don't think like business people. Like if you're a fan, there's never a good time for an owner like Wick Grossbeck to sell his stake in the Celtics. It's never a good time. Because you might say to yourself, well, why now? Why now? Why? Well, it's not a good time in 3 years for you. It's not a good time in 5 years when you have an owner who knows the difference between Boston College and Boston University, an owner who knows how to pronounce Worcester and from Worcester. Like, local ownership is priceless. Local engaged ownership. So it's never a good time for you as a fan for that person to move on. However, as a business person, just won a championship, just signed the best players to huge contract. Everybody's got a contract. General manager, stable. Fan base, rabid. Put in $360 million in 2002, and now it's 2024, and his Pierce was low. I don't care what Forbes says. Forbes can say 4.7 billion, 4.1 billion. No, it's at least 5.5, maybe more, because you're the Celtics. So just kind of push it up a little bit. I think that valuation, even for a franchise without a building, is low. So this is the perfect time for Wick Grossbeck to sell. You hate to say it that way because this is painful.
I don't begrudge the man one bit.
This is painful.
I don't begrudge him one bit for wanting to sell this team with the way things are going in the NBA. The bill is about to come due. You know, I mean, let's be honest. They're going to spend close to $1 billion in salaries here in coming years. And that's just really in the next 2 to 3 years. Let's see where it goes beyond that. So I don't begrudge him one bit for selling. But, Holley, I think you got to it. Yesterday was a bad day for the Celtics. Yeah, if you're a Celtics fan, yesterday was a really, really bad day because you said it. Local ownership is priceless. Local engaged ownership is priceless. Say what you will about, you know, any owner in sports. Isn't Wick kind of the model? Isn't that exactly what you want? Somebody who you never, over the course of the last 22 years, felt like he stopped trying to have his team win.
That's it. And, you know, we joked about I hope you still do have a girlfriend. I hope you do. But we joked about your girlfriend earlier. She's great. What's up? I know you're sleeping, but we love you. And Matt loves you. He really does.
Loves the cowboy hat.
That's right. And the cowboy boots.
Loves your Walpole country. Love it so much. But it's like the things that you complain about when you're about to lose that, you go, oh, wait a minute. I'll take that. Oh, you're walking out? No. It wasn't a problem. So you think back over the years, what we've complained about, or some people have complained about with Wick Grossbeck and Steve Pagliuca at that matter too, because I remember when they first took over, 2002. I'll never forget this. And Bob Ryan probably we can find the article. Ryan complaining about these local owners who don't really get it. They wore Celtics. They wore the Celtics jackets. You know those the satin.
Yeah.
Those sweet ones. They would sit courtside and like harass the officials and high five the players. Okay.
Yeah.
That was a complaint once upon a time. How about during the NBA Finals? Wick Grossbeck trying to troll Luka in Game 2. that was a complaint a couple of weeks ago. Oh, owner shouldn't be doing that. No, this is exactly what you want your ownership to do. Stay out of the way when it comes to team personnel. Give me the best facilities. Make sure my players don't walk away in contract disputes because you're too cheap to pay. And let's see what happens. For all of his passion for the Celtics, you said it about Grossbeck. You realize Wick Grossbeck never fired a head coach. He never fired a head coach with the Celtics. So Jim O'Brien kind of resigned because he didn't like Wick. He didn't like Wick's enthusiasm. Too enthusiastic. Talked about analytics, all this stuff. No. You're interfering with basketball business. I'm not feeling this. So Jim O'Brien leaves. Doc Rivers wanted to leave. They trade him. Brad Stevens, not fired. Ime Udoka couldn't. Ime Udoka.
He got fired. But that wasn't because they wanted him out.
I didn't make you do that.
Right.
Don't put that on me. Don't put that. Speaking of relationships, don't blame me for that. I gotta fire you. You made me do it. And now you got Joe. General managers, stable.
Yep.
Across. Yeah, Danny Ainge here for a generation. So that's exactly what you want an owner to do. Give me the resources, spend money, be involved, be present, but not too present. Don't be like the fantasy basketball guy who, I'll give you an example. Philadelphia, in the same time, Philadelphia and New York, we've talked about them lately for making moves, and maybe they're on the Celtics level. You know how many coaches Philadelphia's had?
A million.
Since Wick took over the team? The Knicks have had, I think I counted the other day, the Knicks have had 14 coaches since 2002.
Wow.
Like 14 guys who have, whether it's interim or full-time coaches, 14 guys. There are guys who have coached the Knicks you forgot about. Like Kurt Rambis coached the Knicks. You forgot about that, didn't you?
No idea. Never would have guessed.
Jeff Hornacek coached the Knicks.
Yep.
Lenny Wilkins.
Who?
Lenny Wilkins, Hall of Fame. Lenny Wilkins, Larry Brown, all these guys since 2002.
Larry Brown, you're right. I remember that.
David Fisdale. I mean, they just had so many guys. And so that's what you miss when a local guy who's involved and who's got money says, I'm moving on, because now you open yourself up to the craziness of professional sports ownership, and it's not just the NBA. Most owners are bad. Most of them are bad. You get a good one, you just love on them. Hey, Robert Kraft, I'm sorry. We love you. Like, Dynasty, yeah. Oh, okay. It's all forgiven. Jonathan, we love you, Jonathan. Don't sell.
They haven't spent the money that Wick has spent.
No. Stay.
Not here recently.
Stay. No. That lighthouse. I love that lighthouse. Damn, that thing is beautiful.
Bad day.
State of the art.
Bad day if you're a Celtics fan. We'll get more into that at 617-779-0985. Good day for the Bruins, and of course we spent no time talking about it yesterday.
Karen Reed coming up next.
Karen Reed. Don Sweeney on the Bruins editions.
Both players identified a very competitive environment with the culture and the opportunity, the fit for both them personally on the ice as well as their family dynamic. Way back in the draft, we identify Elias as a player that has a lot of the Bergeron qualities. This has been, kudos to our scouting staff and following these guys and watching the growth of Zadorov, but also acknowledging where Elias remains in his career and bringing the attributes he does. Kind of been a 2-year pursuit, to tell you the truth, wondering maybe down the road if he would ever get to free agency. Had chances at the deadline to maybe get in there, but didn't necessarily materialize. So with this presented, we were very happy.
So I think the Bruins are way better than they were on Sunday. I think they filled their two of their biggest needs entering this offseason, which is a centerman who can actually win a faceoff and a big defenseman who won't get pushed around and can actually hit some guys. Two huge needs. Two questions, though. One, is it an overpay? Two, have they closed the gap enough?
Gap with who?
Florida.
Florida.
The iron of the league, the Rangers, Carolina, you name it.
They've definitely closed the gap, right?
No doubt.
They've definitely closed it. Okay. if you got a guy who can control the puck, theoretically, in Lindholm, and then you got another defenseman who can be physical, and who can not only be physical but can make another team say, all right, I don't want to go up against that for 24 minutes or 26 minutes, however long he's going to be out there in the playoffs on the ice. All right, yeah, that's significant, but as I don't know, McCarthy. As RJ said yesterday, Florida is relentless. The way he put it, I like the way he said it. They're relentless, and it's a nonstop thing. And so for the Bruins, are they at that level? Do you trust that these two additions put them at that level where they are just so relentless that they're ready to take on Florida and knock them out?
I'll get your thoughts on this, Lockhart, too. I think they're closer, but I don't think they're close enough. I still think they need another center. I think they need, another winger who can score. They've closed the gap, but that gap was already so wide to begin with. It was a really good day for them yesterday. It's a start. It's a really good start, but it's probably the finish. I mean, they've said they're not going to add, anybody else on the wing. It's probably going to be, Lysell, and you're going to count on Patra to come in and give you a boost, hopefully, as your third line center this year. So it does feel like, they've done what they could in some ways, but you still have Lindholm on the books for $6.5 million, which feels to me like, a really bad contract, a worse contract by the day, especially after bringing Zadorov in, another left shot D. They've closed the gap. There's no doubt about it. I just don't think it's enough.
Yeah, I think that at least now they can keep some teams honest like Florida.
Yes.
The Sam Bennett cheap shots might not happen with this monster on the ice playing defense. This guy Zadorov's 6'7", like 250 pounds.
Have you seen the Zadorov hits highlights?
That's all I've been watching since the show started.
Awesome. Pants off since yesterday. Wow. It's like, oh, look at that. Oh, did you see that hit? Oh, boy, that was clean.
Yeah.
Oh,
the thing
nice.
that worries me, though, you mentioned Patra. He's so young and small that actually finishing a season might be quite a challenge for him. So they might still be down a center, come March. He worries me a bit. Talented guy, but can he stay healthy? That worries me a lot.
Are you also a little worried about Lindholm and not Hampus? Because I'm surprised you said that was a bad contract. He played better. in the
6 for 6.5.
Yeah.
Oh,
but still,
I don't know.
yeah. But you got those guys. You got Lindholm. You got McAvoy.
Yep.
You got Pasternak. You got both Lindholms.
Yep.
Pasternak, McAvoy. This is your team. Like, this is the team. You talk about closing the gap. If this is not enough, this is your squad for the next 5 or 6 years. You got all these guys together. Nobody's going anywhere. But I was going to ask you, are you concerned that Lindholm, the production, has kind of gone down the last 3 years?
Yes.
So, like, look at the points from like 82 to 64 last year, 43. And then you get a big contract. So are we paying? Was last year an aberration, or are you paying for past production?
I think a little bit of both. I don't think he's a 42 goal scorer like he was in 2022. I think, you bring him in here and hopefully he's better in your system. That's obviously, it's been a good system for, 200-foot centers, right? So, I think he'll be successful here. It's a big contract, sure. Is it a little bit of an overpay? Yeah. But you always overpay when you go out on the market. He's the largest free agent contract that Don Sweeney's ever handed out.
It's a pretty big contract. Yeah, I was actually kind of shocked by the numbers, but yeah, I believe that.
Yeah, it is. But it also speaks to the fact that the Bruins actually haven't really handed out a lot of big-time free agent deals. The biggest contract before this was David Backes.
Don't say it. See,
wow. I know. It's not.
Man, you can't say that name before 7 a.m.
Not a good name to say. It's not a good track record. And generally, you want to talk about paying for past performance. David Backes is the perfect example of that. They needed a center. They needed a center so badly. So it's paying for past performance a little bit, sure, but it's also paying for desperate need. You can't go out there with Pavel Zacha, Morgan Geekie, and Charlie Coyle as your centers in a series against Florida.
No.
You just can't do it. So Lindholm makes them better. He's also, you want to take a guess where he is in average annual value among centers in the NHL? You think this is a huge deal, and it is. It is by Bruin standards. Take a guess where he is in average annual value at $7.75 million.
Well, Lockhart, the way he said that, I'm going to say middle of the pack. I'm going to say he's number 14.
Yeah, I was going to say like 10th.
Lower.
Wow.
What?
Lower. Keep going. Keep guessing.
20th in the
22nd.
league?
Keep going.
Stop it.
30th?
Keep going.
No, come on. No,
35th in the league in
Jeez.
average annual value.
Wow.
So you
okay.
think this is a huge deal, and it is, but it's not a backbreaking deal.
No,
it's
huh?
not. That should make you feel better as a Bruins fan. Like, did they overpay? Yeah, but you always overpay. You're always paying for past performance when somebody's a free agent. 35th in the league in average annual value at the center position.
Wow.
Pretty good.
So let me ask you, because we started talking about this yesterday, and I'd love to hear your answer on it. Because I was asking RJ, look, where do you look at how close are the Bruins? That question, how far are they from Florida and Edmonton? How close are they to that level? But really, the better question is, who do you put this on now? Like, if you're Don Sweeney, like, hey, I gave you the overpay. I gave you Lindholm. I gave you Zadorov. I'm going to sign Swayman to about $8 million a year. I got everything there on the table. Is the pressure, for the first time, will the pressure be on the guys in the room? Don't call it the locker room in hockey. They call it the room.
The room.
The room. Is the pressure finally going to be on the guys in the room? Are we going to hold them accountable for lack of performance? Or, once again, is this more on Montgomery? Oh, make or break year for Jim Montgomery, because look what Don Sweeney has done for him. Like, who's it on now? It's not on Sweeney. He's giving you, like, this is what you want as a fan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Spend money. Okay, spend money. Don't let Swayman walk away. Okay. Don't have, I hear you, Michael Felger. Don't have two goaltenders. Okay.
Right. Trade him away.
I'll trade one. Get a first-round pick. Get another 6'7" guy with that first-round pick.
Yeah. Watch him skate right now.
Yeah,
He's out
that's
there
right.
flying around.
Watch him at Boston College, not Boston University. Boston College. All right, so who's it on?
Oh, it's on the players. Charlie McAvoy, $9.5 million a year. David Pastrnak at $11 million a year.
All right, here we go.
It's on them. It's on them.
You're getting paid like stars, play like stars when it matters most.
Couldn't agree more. So we'll continue with the Bruins discussion, but I do want to get back to the sale of the Celtics. We haven't even gotten into Jason Tatum and Derek White. How much stuff happened yesterday? Can we spread this out just a little bit, please? Let's get to Jason Tatum, Derek White, and more of the Celtics. We'll be bouncing between the Bruins and Celtics all day long at 617-779-0985. Holley's here. It's McCarthy. Lockhart with the headlines.
Sports Hub headlines.
The Red Sox are back at it tonight. They face
Man was on TV at 11:24 last
Oh, I'm
night.
hyped. Don't worry. Don't worry. I'm ready.
This is a heroic effort from you today.
Oh, this is. I'm up early most of the time. Anyway, you missed it yesterday. The kids are gone. The kids are at sleepaway camp, so I'm getting more rest. I'm just more at ease. I'm not on edge. Like usually when they text, when I see a text from one of my kids, I'm like, damn, here we go. What are you asking for now? Can I have a hangout with so-and-so? Hey, can I get this? Can I do that? Here's the money. I'm going here. So none of that. I'm at ease, McCarthy.
No
So I'm ready.
phones? No phones at the sleepaway
No
camp?
phones.
They signed up for
And-
that.
Well, they
Kids
didn't-
signed
no,
up for
no,
that? Or
I
you
signed
them
up for that.
You made that
didn't-
decision?
They didn't sign up for that. I signed up for that. But that's the rule of the camp. And I know for a fact because, again, especially that middle one, I had to check. I know there are no phones, but on the way to camp, check this out, Lockhart. On the way there, on the drive, I'm so excited driving. Like, okay, 20 miles away, 20 miles away. My life's going to change. This is great. He told me the story. My middle one told a story like, hey, yeah, first year at camp, there was a kid who snuck his cell phone in, and he had it, and nobody caught him.
Yeah, right.
And I didn't want to snitch on him, but he had it. He had it the entire time. And I'm thinking, okay, what he's telling me is he's got his.
Yeah.
So I patted them all down before they got out of the car. Come here. Like, give me a hug, and now let me just pat you down and make sure. But I checked yesterday. All cell phones in the house. We got the Switch. The Switch is in the house. The Apple Watch, the iPods, the iPads, everything accounted for.
Wow.
We're sorry. You have reached a number that has been disconnected or is no longer in service.
That's right.
The Hollies don't live here anymore.
That's it. Now, 1 year, I told them to contact their friends, too, because they don't have their phones. Just let your buddies know that you're not going to be available for a while. Because 1 year, I'll admit it, and I shouldn't have encouraged this, but my oldest kind of had, they're not allowed to date, but kind of had like a girlfriend. And I was trying to teach him to be a communicator. You want to be effective in relationships, you got to be a good communicator, man. Come on.
Especially at 14,
Come on.
such good communicators.
Yeah, exactly.
Says the guy who just took his kids' phones away before.
You got
be a good communicator.
You got to be a good communicator. You got to be transparent. Let her know what you're thinking, where you're going. So he didn't tell his girlfriend that he was going to camp. So
I mentioned it.
So I pretended to be him.
You pretended to be him.
I pretended to be him. So I said at times like, what would he write? I put a couple emojis in there, like some, the acronyms that I don't quite get.
Sup, bro?
Yeah.
Good
Bro.
vibes this summer. Going to sleepaway camp.
My parents suck. Send me away.
How about those Red Sox? This isn't you.
So I told him. He was like, I'd never write that. I can't believe you did that. I can't believe you did it.
You didn't just text her yourself.
Yeah, it would have
No.
been better if you
Yeah.
just said, this is...
Hey.
No,
just
no,
let
okay.
you know.
Yeah.
No, that's creepy. Hey,
Oh, what, you taking his phone and pretending to be him wasn't creepy?
Yeah. I think you got this wrong. I don't know.
no, but at least that's a little more appropriate. I'm reaching out to some teenage girl. Hey, how you doing?
But it's you.
Yeah, I mean,
Instead
but no,
of
but we
lying about who you are.
don't- we don't.
Do you
have,
know the girl? Do you know
I
the
do.
family?
Know the family. Yeah, good family.
Yeah, just
Great
text the
family.
parents.
Right, just mom and dad, just to let you know.
No, but then you don't want the parents involved. You want them to kind of figure this out. You want the parents involved. So here I am, pretending to be him.
I'm noticing holes in all
Yeah,
of
this
these
could have been
theories
done a
right
lot
here.
easier,
Right,
I feel
this-
like.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
Or you just, you let him live and learn. You go away for a month. He doesn't text his girlfriend. See how that goes. Which is actually where I'm going to be after the country music joke.
I don't want him to learn that lesson. Yeah. Not yet. There's plenty of time for that, McCarthy. You know how it goes.
Yeah, life is a lifelong learning lesson. What more can you say? Yeah. 617-779-0985. Should we do the TNR clock or should we do the regular clock?
Do the McCarthy clock. Whatever you want.
What
Dealer's
clock
choice.
What clock are you feeling today?
I'm feeling the normal clock. So what we'll do, we'll come back. We'll talk about
normal clock.
We'll do Jason Tatum, and we're already off the normal clock. This is the McCarthy clock. What more can you say? We'll do Jason Tatum. We'll do Derek White, and anything you want at 617-779-0985.
You're listening to Toucher and Hart.
NBA history. Jason Tatum, 5 years, $314 million. Deal includes a player option, a trade kicker. Jason Tatum will be the first $70 million a year player in the NBA. This is a big day for Boston. We reported earlier, Derek White, 4 years, $126 million. And of course, their owner put the team on sale today. But this is a Celtic organization that has all their key players locked in on contracts now with White, with Tatum. There is going to be a massive bill to pay down the road, but they still have this group next year without having to make any tough decisions. They can bring them all back. That will change after next season, but there's a window here for Boston to win multiple championships with easily the deepest, most talented team in the league, and Jason Tatum, their best player now, $314 million.
Times today. I'm
Toucher
just
and
gonna
Hardy.
Tell you that right now. We've already got one count. Can we keep count back there, Beaton? You and Fabrizio and Milliken's cousin? Can you guys keep
and
count?
Milliken's cousin.
Milliken's cousin?
Milliken's cousin just gave me a good tidbit.
What's that?
The contract was $314 because of the St. Louis area code.
Oh,
yes.
It was supposed to be $315, but he took $1 million pay cut to match the area code.
That's funny. I kept reading 315 yesterday, and then it was 314 this morning.
Can you imagine?
Take that, LeBron. I'm taking a $1 million pay cut.
Can you
doing
imagine,
it for St. Louis?
Can you imagine being that rich that you take $1 million fewer dollars just to have a cute number?
Right.
I can't. No, I cannot. I cannot imagine that.
No. Wow. Is it even worth talking about? Like,
Yes.
really, at the core, is it worth talking about? We knew he was going to get paid. He deserves to get paid. Does anybody disagree with that?
No.
Yeah, it would have been a real story if yesterday they said, wait a minute, Celtics had an opportunity to sign Jason Tatum to the Supermax to extend him, and because of ownership uncertainty, they've decided not to do it, or something. That's the only way it's a real story, is if it doesn't happen. We all knew it was going to happen, and now here it is.
See, I think the Derek White signing is more of the story from yesterday, because that's where, well, again, I guess Wick's not going to pay for all of this. Somebody else is going to pay for all of this, but that's where a team you would see, right? You win a championship, and that's where you make a cut, right? I mean, Jason Tatum is the guy you're going to pay. You paid Jaylen Brown last year, but I think, the Celtics' commitment and Wick's commitment really up until this point to winning a championship and putting the best team around Brown and Tatum has been in signing Porzingis, trading for Porzingis, signing him, has been in extending Drew Holiday, has been in, paying Al Horford to come off the bench, now paying Derek White. That's where the real commitment is, because that's where other teams, Michael, would probably cut a corner here or there. Hell, the Celtics took a guy in the first round when they could have easily gone back to the second round and saved $5 million a year doing that. Their commitment, Wick's commitment, left and right, has been, we will spare no expense to put the absolute best team on the court, which is admirable. It's not sustainable, but it's admirable. And I think you're seeing that yesterday with the bill coming due.
Is it not sustainable?
For Wick, it might not be. Wick doesn't have the pockets nor the revenue streams that some other owners do.
So if you don't have see, I think it is sustainable, but it depends on what you're looking to get out of it. I think it's sustainable if you're looking to increase by, just throw a number out there. You want to clear $48 million every year.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to lose a dollar. Okay, then it's not sustainable. But I don't think keeping this group together will lead you to financial ruin if you're an owner in the NBA.
No, it won't lead you to financial ruin.
Or it will. I don't even think it will. It will make you say the business is not good for me. No, the business is still going to be pretty good for you, even if you're the Boston Celtics and you don't own your building. I don't think yesterday's sale was about, hey, this is not sustainable. I think yesterday's sale was about, this is a good time to cash out.
I think that's absolutely a
fact. I'm cashing out.
Well, I think both those.
It's not, because look, McCarthy, I know how big the bill is for the Celtics if they want to keep it together. But okay, the flip side is, we're all looking at it optimistically as if the Celtics are going to win championships every year And to keep this thing going, you have to sit there and pay the tax bill. You got to pay this bill. Well, what if they don't? What if they turn into the Milwaukee Bucks, who, win a championship and then they, start to go south a little bit? You have tradable pieces. You don't necessarily have to sit there year after year and pay the taxes. So it's not like, hey, I got this expensive team and I'm stuck with them. You've got guys, Derek White's 29 years old. I mean, if you really want to look, not that they're thinking this way, but Jason Tatum's 26. Jaylen Brown's 27. In 2 years, if you sour on these guys, you can get out. You can trade them. I mean, they wouldn't do that.
Right.
But it's not like you're stuck. More than that, damn it, expansion is lucrative. You're going to get 2 expansion teams to this league. Everybody's going to get a bunch of money from expansion. Your media rights package is going through the roof. $76 billion in media rights. And the way we look at it, I promise you, the way we look at it today in 2024, the numbers look crazy. They won't look as crazy in 5 years.
So you make the good point, and it's totally right that it's a good time to get out. I do have the details on what it would cost Wyc Grousbeck to keep the Celtics intact a year from now. And don't tell me that's, at least in some ways, not a factor in his decision to get out at this time. I've got those numbers for you, including what it's going to cost the Celtics in 2025 to keep this team together. We'll do that 90 seconds, no commercials. A quick update here from Mike Lockhart, and we're right back with you on Toucher and Hardy. Toucher and Hardy, except they're not here today. It's Holley, McCarthy, Lockhart.
The Town Fair Tire Studios, the only place to hear the local call of the game is right here. WBC-FM, HD Austin, Austin's home for sports. 98.5, the Sports Hub, Beasley Media Group station. Sports Hub headlines.
NBA and NHL free agency rolls on. The Celtics have signed Jason Tatum to the NBA's richest deal. 5 years, $314 million. They also extended Derek White, the birthday boy. He's 30 today. 4 years, $125 million extension. Bruins, they signed Elias Lindholm to a 7-year deal, and his teammate, defenseman Nikita Zadorov, for a 6-year, $30 million deal. Jake DeBrusk heads to Vancouver for a 7-year, $38 million deal. The Red Sox are back at it tonight. They face the Marlins in Miami. Cutter Crawford gets the start for Boston. Sox are 8.5 games behind New York and Baltimore in the AL East, a game and a half out of the wild card race. And the U.S. men's national team lost 1-0 to Uruguay last night in the Copa America. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Fireworks Over the Border in Seabrook, New Hampshire, the world's largest supplier of reloadable aerial shells, jumbo rockets, and 500-gram cakes. Visit fireworksusa.com. Must be 21 or older. Check with local police or fire regarding firework use in your community. I'm Mike Lockhart. I'm Boston's home for sports. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
There's the potential there for big stuff.
98.5 The Sports Hub app. Get the app. Half Toucher.
Dressed like a gorilla.
Half Hardy.
A big, beautiful ball of flame.
And a whole lot of Boston sports.
And I have had many offers to become an insider.
Million you want to spend on a basketball team?
I'm ready.
All right. Jason Tatum, projected $54 million. Jason Tatum, $53 million. Drew Holiday, $32
You mean Jaylen
million.
Brown? Jaylen Brown.
Jason Tatum, 54. Jaylen Brown, 53.
Okay, all right.
Drew Holiday, 32.
All right.
Kristaps Porzingis, 31. Derek White, 28. Run down the list. Peyton Pritchard at 7. Bailey Shireman at 2. Horford and Sam Hauser are free agents. Your projected repeater tax for the full roster in 2025 is $250 million. Not the salaries, not the contracts. The Celtics' luxury tax bill next year will be $250 million.
Well,
to keep
25,
this team
but
together.
it's 25-26.
25-26.
Not 24-25.
Correct. Yeah.
All right, so you
not
do it-
this season, but next season.
So 2 years from now,
2 years from now.
$250 million.
Right, for a total roster cost of
For rich people.
Yes, for an estimated cost of $470 to $500 million. I get it. Wyc is rich, everybody who owns a sports team is rich. I understand that. We think the Mets are crazy for spending like $300 million on their team, or the Dodgers or the Yankees. That is so much more money than just about anybody has ever spent on an American sports team.
Oh, it is, yeah.
It's crazy. It's nuts. So I understand why the guy would want to sell and would want somebody else to pick up that cost, in addition to the fact that now's the perfect time to sell. The team's never been worth more money.
Okay, let me ask you this. And all valid points, extremely valid points, McCarthy. Why then does Steve Pagliuca want in? Why does Pags want it? He put out a statement yesterday. He said, I look forward to the bidding process. I look forward to being a participant in the bidding process. So Pags he's part of that ownership group, that original group with Wick. Wick and his dad, Irv Grossbeck, went to Paul Gaston and said, hey, are the Celtics for sale? You must have a number. Gaston had been thinking about selling, and then they offered him that $360 million. He said, all right, fine. You got some time. Go find some people. And at the time, it was just Irv and Wick. And Wick was like, okay, I need some help.
Right. He needs the money.
And so I need to go out, and Pags is one of the people he recruited. So this guy has been there for 22 years. He knows what the challenges are. Everything that you just mentioned, he's got that information and even more information. Why does he want in?
So I think a couple of factors there. One, I mean, yes, anybody, Wick could afford it, right? All of these guys could afford it. Wick doesn't have as, deep a pocket as, Elon Musk or, whoever, Jeff Bezos or whoever would want to buy the team. You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't have that type of money, but he, of course, can afford the Celtics. But now is a good time to get out. For somebody like Pags, and I'm not a business guy, but he already owns a slice of the team. He owns the second largest slice of the team. I mean, I don't know what the breakdown is, but it's Wick and Irv. I don't know, how much of a share Irv has, but Pags is kind of the number two, right? He only needs to buy a certain portion of the Celtics to have majority control. So from an investment standpoint, it's just upping his investment level into the team he already got in kind of at the ground level.
Yeah,
so I could see why it would make sense for somebody like Pags to take on a larger share.
But you still got the same issues that those issues don't go away. Those economic challenges. All right, you get investment wise. Now you've got a different standing. Now it's not, hey, Governor Wick Grossbeck until 2028, 2029. We got a new governor, Governor Pags. He ran for Senate a while ago. And that didn't work out. But you know what?
Go so well.
I'm going to be Governor Pags of the Boston Celtics. And the good thing for him, in all seriousness, every Celtics fan out there, if you're a Celtics fan, you're listening, you are rooting for Pags.
Yes.
That's your guy.
That's
your
case
guy.
Scenario, right?
You want the damn incumbent. You want Pags to win. Anybody else is the enemy. Anybody else is a villain. You want Pags because you want to keep this thing going. You want as much familiarity as you can get. So Governor Pags takes over. He still has to pay. Okay, who's paying these guys? Me. In the group.
Right.
He still has a group. And I think, and I'll answer my own question. Why does he want in? Because he knows people. So the investment group kind of reinvents itself. Mm-hmm. So if he takes over, he becomes the new Wick, so to speak, and he's got people who can be the new him. He knows he's got international contacts. He's got national contacts. He's a Bain Capital guy. He knows money. He's a moneyed person. He's around moneyed people. He knows how to find them. So I think that's the advantage for him.
Holley, you just nailed it. This is best case scenario for Celtics fans. I said yesterday was a bad day for Celtics fans. You lose a local owner who, say what you will about any, owner, has done basically everything in his power to make the Celtics competitive. And the Celtics have been nothing but competitive under Wick Grossbeck. They have. I mean, he has been an excellent, Sam Kennedy uses the term a steward, right? He called, John's stewardship of the Boston Red Sox. Yeah, okay. Wick Grossbeck has been an excellent steward of the institution that is the Boston Celtics. You want it to be Pags. It needs to be Pags. Instead of somebody coming in from the outside with, obviously you're going to need deep pockets to own the Celtics. I get that. But the best case scenario for Celtics fans is Pags gets enough control, out of this that he becomes the majority, shareholder, and he becomes the owner of the Boston Celtics. And the good news is he already has whatever the share is. Can we find out what Pags' share in the Boston Celtics is? Because I do think that's important. I don't want to get too in the weeds here, but
they got a bunch of people in the group.
Yes.
They got a bunch of them.
Yes.
So we always talk about the three. Wick, Steve, Bob Epstein, but there are a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot more. They're probably seriously, there may be 10, 11 more people.
Yep. Who
are all involved. So I don't know what the percentages are, but you got a lot of hands, a lot of people who are a part of those intimate ownership conversations. So if you're, and you're right, it's not just the reason you want Pags because you've seen him, he's visible, you know how much passion he has for basketball too. But the other thing is when you bring in an owner, not only do you take their, get their money becomes a part of the conversation, so does their personality. So you're taking on their insecurities, you're taking on their need to be involved, you're taking on their stubbornness in some cases. Imagine, I'm just going to cross sports here for a little bit. Imagine, being in Carolina and for football.
Yeah, Tepper.
And David Tepper is the owner. And you say, hey, this guy, David Tepper, he used to be with the Steelers. And the Steelers are a stable ownership group, and he's got money. He's a tech guy who's coming from the Steelers. This should be fine. He's the opposite. He's not. He doesn't have Steelers values. The guy's a moron. And so that's what you get. Or the new owner in Phoenix, Matt Ishbia.
Yep.
Okay, here's a guy who went to Michigan State, got a lot of money. All right, this is going to be good. Comes in, he fires the coach. They tell him, oh, no, wait a minute. You can't trade all this stuff for Kevin Durant. Does it anyway. You can't trade all this stuff for Bradley Beal. Does it anyway. Now they're a disaster because of his insecurity, of his need to be involved. So you get an owner. It's not just the rich guy. Hey, I want to get the richest guy in Boston. Okay. What's he going to do with the team? Does he want to really put his stamp on the team?
Let's go back to 2002. You would have been doing this at the time. Frank McCourt trying to buy the Red Sox. Everybody wanted Frank McCourt to buy the Red Sox. John Henry was the outsider. It ended up working out a hell of a lot better for the Red Sox. Say what you will in 2024.
Oh, he got it.
That John Henry bought the Red Sox instead of Frank McCourt, who ended up being a complete and total disaster with the Dodgers.
We got John Henry has his own Eras tour. All right, so John Henry, like the 2002 to 2013, right. John Henry,
the I Care.
Oh
eras.
Wow, that was incredible. And then the post 13, John Henry, he's like Godfather 3. You know what I mean? He's just a mess. So it can last for a while with the outsider, and then his instincts took over.
Yes,
I think he did a great job. John Henry did in those first 10 years of, hey, I know what you want. He did a really great job of reading the room. Oh, you people want to win so badly. Yeah, you talk about this curse thing. I'm all into it. Yeah, I want to do it. I want to transform Fenway Park, and I want to put all this money into the roster. And then after he got a little success, he was like, well, wait a minute. No, I'm not a Bostonian. I'm not a New Englander. I'm a businessman. I'm not as invested as these people are. No, I'm going to make money. Give it to Wick and his group. They have been consistent throughout. Consistent.
So I'm reading something right now that back in 2017, when the Nets were selling off their team, they approached Pagliuca about it, and he considered buying the Nets. So that's going to tell you that he's probably going to end up with the majority ownership of the Celtics, I would imagine.
Well, that's the hope.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, because I think, and Holley, you're totally onto this. The unknown of who would come in and run the Celtics. I will take the known commodity almost always in the sports world when it comes to ownership. Because you just don't know. You just rattled off, 17 different examples of guys you thought would be successful as owners, and they're not, for whatever reason that may be. So the hope, absolutely, if you're a Celtics fan, should be the known commodity of Steve, of Pags, compared to, listen, does he have the pockets that, an Elon Musk would have? I'm just thinking of the world's richest people, or Jeff Bezos. No, but he's a known commodity. That's exactly what you should want as a Celtics fan, because you're losing the known commodity. Wick is the ultimate example of exactly what you're getting with this guy, and what more could you possibly want? Bad day yesterday. Bad day.
It was. All right. Known commodity. That's a good thing. Well, first of all, before I make this point, where are we on the McCarthy clock?
Do you want to tease something? This is a good opportunity. Can you do a tease, Michael Holley?
Can I do it?
Producer Holley over here.
Can I do a tease?
You do a tease.
Here's a question with this sale that I want you guys to consider. I have a question for you to consider. Will it change your Celtics loving experience? It will change. It could possibly change your Celtics loving experience based on the way you answer this question.
Now, that's a tease right there. That's why this man should be doing this every single day. Somebody give him the big bucks.
Okay.
You shouldn't be in here on July 2nd.
Why not?
That.
Yeah, I want July 2nd. With the big bucks, I'm still here on July 2nd.
Mike Holley, Matt McCarthy, Mike Lockhart in for Toucher and Hardy.
Toucher and Hardy.
And I don't want anybody to think I don't love my kids. I love the kids, but we all need breaks from one another. We all need break. They need a break from the parents. That's what I tried to sell them.
Right.
I tried to sell them on that on the drive out. Listen, you want your parents telling you what to do all the time? Wouldn't you just rather have some independence for a month? You make your bed when you want to make your bed. You go eat when you want to eat. But that's not the story at camp because they tell you when to make your bed. They tell you when to eat. But anyway, you get the idea.
You're selling them on something.
Yeah.
If anybody blamed you, they don't have kids. Let's put it this way.
Yeah, that's right. And we have visiting day in 2 weeks, so I'll see him in 2 weeks anyway.
Just one day over the course of a month?
That's it. One day, go visit, and then, hey, okay, we'll see you in 2 weeks for pickup.
Could you do a month without your phone? You, Michael Holley, could you do a month?
I would like to do a month without my phone, but see,
But you are the biggest sports talk radio free agent in Boston. You could be had for whatever you deserve, which is a lot of money, by the way.
$17.
I mean, what if
$17.
What if a new sports station launches in Boston? You'd be the person I'd want to build around. What if you're without your phone for a month?
Oh, now we're talking a new sports station. We'll revisit that. But let me pay off this tease. Can I pay off this tease?
Pay off the tease.
All right.
See, this is why you're the biggest free agent out there.
All right. Now, I do remember, where you're going to see where I'm going with this. It won't take too long, but I'm going to tell you a story. I think it was 1995. 1994. Last game at Boston Garden. I was there. It was the Magic beating the Celtics in the playoffs. Magic star center Shaquille O'Neal was there. Penny Hardaway was there. So that was the last game at the Garden. The Celtics lost. So 94, I think it was 94, 95, whatever it was.
Dennis Scott on that team? That was a good team.
Dennis Scott, 3D.
Yep.
He was on there. Nick Anderson on that team. It was a good team. They beat the Celtics in like 4 games or something like that, best of 5. Anyway, in that, so after that series, there were a lot of stories about this new place, this antiseptic place. There's no history. It's the new Garden. Will there ever be another Boston Garden? And does anybody think that now?
No.
Everybody thinks, thank God they got rid of that place.
Yeah, they got rid of it. And you just won a championship at this new place that's not so new anymore, and your experience is fine. Would you be comfortable? Would it change your experience if some new owner came in and said, look, not only am I excited about spending the money on this Celtics roster that McCarthy is so worried about, not only am I excited about that, I'm excited about bringing in new revenue streams to the Boston Celtics. I want to build a new arena.
I'd have no problem.
I want a new arena. Are you afraid of a new arena? We'll have a parquet floor. It may not be, you may not take the train to North Station to get there. Maybe you have to go toward Everett to get there.
Yeah, starting to get out on this south of town. Can we put it off the expressway, please?
Wait. It's an arena. Where are we going to put it? Where are we going to put it? You got to put it somewhere like
Route 1, Foxborough.
Plenty of room out there.
Yeah.
But would you
Put it
be
at the
okay?
Rodman Ford.
That new owner says, look, for this thing to be sustainable for me, I need to get the Celtics to another level. I'm tired of that. I don't want to rent anymore. I don't want to share a wall with anybody anymore. You renters out there, you know what I'm talking about. I don't want to share a wall. I don't want to hear somebody walking upstairs at 2 a.m. I want my own place. I want to control my own money. So this new Celtics owner builds an arena. And that's where that additional money is coming from. It's still going to be expensive, but it's going to be less expensive because I now control all the other ancillary pieces, financial pieces coming into this place.
I love that. I love it. I would love a new arena.
Like a Steve Ballmer type owner?
Right.
What is it called? The Intuit Dome or something like that?
Have you been to Chase Center in San Francisco? Place is unbelievable. In the new Warriors Arena, I saw a concert there in March, and it's outstanding. You're like, wow, oh my God, I fit in these seats? I don't fit in the seats at the Garden. That doesn't happen. No, of course I'd love a new arena. I mean, who wouldn't love a new arena? But at what cost? Because whoever's coming in, if we're talking about a true outsider coming in and owning the Celtics guys, it's going to be somebody with hugely deep pockets. Somebody who could build a $2 billion arena on top of buying the Celtics for $5.5 billion or whatever that's going to be. But at what cost? Like at the cost of local ownership
Well,
at the cost of somebody who really, again, the John Henry, the Sam Kennedy phrase, oh, we're stewards of the Boston Red Sox. Whit Grousbeck has been a steward of the Boston Celtics. There's no doubt about that. So what? You want a new arena, but you're going to run the risk of that person turning into John Henry eventually?
Well, a couple of things. You said who wouldn't want a new arena? A lot of people wouldn't because of what I said. Like the people, there was a lot of people who don't want a new Fenway Park because my grandmother watched games here. My mother watched games here. I'm watching games here. Why do we need a new Fenway Park? Why do we need a new garden? There are people like that. They're nostalgic, and they just want the same thing. Familiarity is important to them. Now, you mentioned an outsider. It couldn't be an outsider. An outsider could not get a new facility built here. It's Boston. Come on, you outsider. Hell no.
I mean, John Henry probably realized that when he came here.
Yeah, you didn't kiss enough rings. You didn't bend the knee. No. You're not going to come in here and tell us what to do. So it would have to be somebody really well-versed in local politics.
So you think Pags?
Yeah.
Could Pags be that guy to get a new arena? I mean, I'm all in. I'm totally in for it.
So you don't care about the, hey, there's so much. I just want a championship here. Oh, all the memories. Oh, I remember when they blew a game against Game 4 against Golden State in 2022 here. I remember this.
It makes it a little bit easier knowing you'd still be going there for Bruins games, right? And because it is the new arena, it does not have the history that the old Boston Garden
It's only
had.
30 years old.
It's 30 years old, and frankly, it's outdated for 30 years old. As a 6'5" person with those new seats, I'm good. Knock it down. Thanks very much. It isn't even Fenway. I love Fenway. I'm a baseball guy. I won't sit in 3/4 of Fenway Park. I just know where not to sit. I shouldn't be doing that in an arena built in 1995. No. I've got knock the Garden down for all I care.
Well, no.
And they're not going to do that.
Wait a minute.
I don't care. I don't care about that building. I just don't.
So there's no connection.
No. And I've had great memories there and all that. No. You want to build a new arena? Fine. I'm good with that. Now, the location, I like the location of it. It's easy to get to.
Well, I don't know.
Easy enough by Boston standards.
I won't even go to a night game because I just find it so annoying to drive down there in the wintertime with the snow, and I hate going down there in the winter.
Doesn't that exist everywhere else, though? I mean, Fenway is impossible to get to. I mean, Foxborough, forget about it.
At least Fenway, it's the normal time of year where it's like warmer out and you don't have to worry about like snowbanks and everything.
Right. If you're on the tee, so long as it's on the tee,
it's so easy.
That's fine.
But it's easy. It's easy to get to. I mean, it's
North
convenient.
Station. Right. If you live north of town, you just take the commuter rails.
Commuter rails. You got everything going on there. Now, the new arena, your problem is going to be finding a place that's convenient and available. I mean, because you need a lot of land to get this thing done. And how many spaces are available like that in Boston?
No, not many. I mean, you're probably talking about over by Encore, right?
Right.
I mean, the Bayside Expo Center.
You're not trying to go over there right off 93?
I would love that. I think that'd be great. You're right on the red line. You've got a commuter rail stop there. That would be a perfect location for a new arena. The old Globe building, Holley.
Yeah.
Knock that thing down.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Isn't that why John Henry bought the Globe, right? To build a new Fenway Park there?
But, Lockhart, if you don't like going to North Station, just imagine going to going to the Globe building. You guys were there for a little bit, weren't you, over there?
Yeah, not a problem if you live south of town.
But the traffic over there is always bad.
Traffic's bad everywhere.
But no.
Have you tried to go to Encore before?
Traffic is worse over there. Dorchester, just horrible.
Yeah. Encore's that's no easy ride in for anybody.
No. It's an extra half hour, I'd say, from Dorchester to Everett.
Just get stuck. Nowhere to go. Just looking for it. Get me out of here. But just sitting there.
People might say this is a ridiculous discussion. It's not, because if you want to buy the Celtics, the biggest knock against owning the Celtics is they don't own their own building. Right?
Yeah.
And that was always the story with the Celtics. Now, as we look at it in 2024, it's like, okay, what's the big deal? We're saying Wick bought it for $360 million. At the time, that was seen as crazy because he bought, and it's funny how it's worked out this way. Wick and company bought the Celtics right after Mark Cuban bought the Mavericks. Mm-hmm. It was the same time frame.
Right after
So-
John Henry bought the Red Sox.
So Mark Cuban bought the Mavericks and the building for $275 million. So he got the building too. He got everything for $275. So imagine a guy comes right after that, pays, $80-90 million more than Cuban did without the building. So that was the craziness of it. So is there another Wick Grossbeck out there who will say, I'll overpay, because you have to. I'll overpay. I'm going to set a record for franchise ownership, because the sale of the Celtics, if it's not Pags, if it's somebody else who just comes in and says, all right, I want this whole thing. I want everything. I want the stake, and then I'm going to buy it. It will set a record. And so are you going to be a record-setting guy, and that's it? You're a record-setting guy, and you're a renter? And maybe somebody will, but a lot of people say that's not good business for me.
I've got a thought on why it won't be John Henry that I want to get to.
Thank God.
I hope.
I look forward to this thought.
I hope. I'm trying to manifest this out there into the world, Holley, that it will not be John Henry. We'll do that. 617-779-0985. Quick update from Lockhart. Right back with you. Holley's here. It's McCarthy on Toucher and Hardy.
Sports Hub headlines.
own the Celtics or who could own the Celtics. I don't know anything about anything, let alone high-level business stuff like this. So this is pure speculation. Does it make a lot of sense for John Henry to buy the Celtics if they don't own their own building, which we've talked about? Most of the purchases John Henry has made, they own their own building. Liverpool owns their own stadium. The Penguins, they don't specifically own that building, but there was an agreement between the state and the county and the Penguins. You know, I mean, they are the primary tenant of that building, so obviously the Penguins get, a cut of everything that comes through that. Every, Luke Bryan show that comes through the PPG Paints Arena in Pittsburgh. Like, John Henry's getting a cut of that. To be JJ's tenant doesn't make a lot of sense. Doesn't it make more sense for John Henry to be an expansion owner, to build an arena in Las Vegas or whatever that may be? Doesn't that make more sense for him than buying the Celtics? And I'm trying to talk myself into this. I'm hoping that's the case.
Because you don't want him involved.
Not a chance. Not a chance.
Or what you want him to do is to get away from the Red Sox and then pass him off to somebody else.
If John Henry wants to sell the Red Sox to buy the Celtics, as a Red Sox are my number one, I will sacrifice the Celtics to get John Henry away from the Red Sox. I will put the Celtics on the table, the sacrificial lamb, a sacrifice to the gods, right? We can do the blood altar sacrifice of the Boston Celtics to save my Red Sox.
When you say regret, it's as if I had something to do with it.
Yeah.
Sorry, you had a thought, Lockhart?
Oh, no, I was just going to say, do you think John Henry really wants to own two teams in Boston with all the heat that he gets from just one of them?
He doesn't care about the heat. Yeah, he
seems to care.
Yeah,
he shows up to these things and gets booed.
But okay, he cares when he's around people, but he's not around.
Yeah, I think he's a bit ignorant to it when he's not around.
And so when he's around, he's surprised at the reaction he gets. But when he's not around, he gives these comments where he's talking down to people, and
Tom and I have made a lot of money.
Yeah, he's talking. All of these people don't understand. We got a 1 in 20, 1 in 30 chance, and he's that guy. But it's a portfolio for him. So does it make sense for him to buy the Red Sox? Sure. I mean, to buy the Celtics? Sure. Oh yeah, I'll take the Celtics and add that to the Red Sox. And I got Nesson, and I got the Penguins, and I got Liverpool, and I got the Globe, and yeah, it's just another notch. It's another notch for me. Now, am I invested? Am I really gonna just go in and be thoughtful about what this franchise needs? No. But I just got it. I got it on my list.
I don't know if it fits. I don't know if it fits the mold of the.
He wants
typical
an NBA team too.
Right, he wants an NBA team, yes, but I don't know if it fits the mold of the typical John Henry buy. He bought the Red Sox, and not to say they were a depreciated value, but they were.
They had room to grow. There's a lot of room to grow, and he took advantage of it.
Right, exactly. Same thing with Liverpool. And somebody who follows the EPL and the economics of that more can talk better and certainly more with more thought and articulation than me on that. But Liverpool in some ways was a depreciated asset. There was room to grow with Liverpool. To the point that you've been making earlier, Michael, the Celtics. I mean, of course, there's room to grow. Buying a sports team is a good way to make money. You need a lot of money, but trust me, most of these owners generally don't sell because it's a great way to make money. The Celtics, though, are not the depreciated asset that perhaps the Red Sox were then, or that Liverpool was. Or, is there as much room to grow with the Celtics with the economics of the NBA as we've been talking about, with the money that the Celtics are going to owe these players over the course of the next 3, 4, 5 years? Is there as much growth with the Celtics, given that they don't own their own building, as much as there was with the Red Sox or with Liverpool, or maybe even with the PGA and everything going on there and the Penguins? Feels to me that John Henry is more of a value buyer. I don't know if the Celtics are a great value in comparison to the stuff that he's already done.
You talk about a business mind, a sports business mind. I think we'll talk with someone later today who can help us figure that out. The question is, are they tapped out? Are the Celtics tapped out financially right now?
In some ways.
Because
in some ways, yes.
All right. And I know, Golden State's a bad example, a bad comparison, because there is an ownership of there's real estate ownership.
Yes.
However, can you imagine if the Warriors got to 6 finals, They won 4 of 6. Can you imagine if somebody had come in after their first one? So the Celtics have been to 2. Let's say the Celtics have 4 more finals to go to. Somebody comes in with the Warriors. If somebody had come in after their second finals appearance and said, I'll buy them. Man, what a ride. So you didn't get those 2, but you got 4 more coming. We think that Wick Grossbeck is selling at the right time. Somebody comes in and if you got 4 more finals appearances, does that translate, or it doesn't matter what they do on the court? The economics are going to stay the same because you are a renter, and renters are just limited in what they can make? Or is there something else there? Because if there's something else there, yeah, okay. Maybe I don't get that arena, but I feel like I can go to another level with the preeminent franchise in the NBA historically and right now.
It's a great question. Listen, somebody's going to buy it at $5.5 billion, so it's worth something, right? Somebody's going to make a lot of money owning the Celtics, but is somebody going to make the level of money that they want to make, that you could make if you did own your own arena, if you did have the revenues from Asia that, say, the Warriors have? I just don't know if the Celtics quite have that. So maybe somebody like John Henry, who looks at this in a completely emotionless way, says, yeah, I'm in on an NBA team, but I'm not in on that NBA team. I can, pay an expansion fee and build my arena in Las Vegas, and I can ultimately make more money doing that than by buying the Celtics, which are already an established brand. And, of course, there are a lot of things that the Celtics have going for them. I just wonder if somebody like John Henry looks at the situation with the Celtics and not owning their arena and knowing how much money is owed to these players over the course of the next 5 years and says, no, it makes more sense for me to invest my money somewhere else.
And you know what? It's a good exercise to go through if you're the Celtics, because it makes you, anytime you think about a move, whether it's a sports franchise or moving from one apartment to the other, one house to the other, you start to think about what you need, what's unnecessary, where you can do some things a little bit different. Like maybe somebody comes in and does with this group what Wick Grossbeck did with his predecessor. Like the Celtics used to be a mom and pop operation before he got there. So, and it was cute. It was the Celtics, and they had somebody answering the phone and a couple people there.
You could buy shares.
Yeah, it's like all kinds of things that they did, and he changed the business operation. Brought in Rich Gotham there now. Brought in Danny Ainge. Daryl Morey was there in the early days, just kind of changing the way the Celtics did business. The business of the Celtics, and then new partnerships. And so money was coming in, new streams of income were coming in before they even got to the NBA Finals. Before they became a good team, they were a good business. And then the good team matched up with the good business. So maybe somebody looks at them and says, all right, you're a great business now. Oh, Wick, you brought the Celtics into the 21st century for sure. But I see something else. We can go even higher. So, yeah, I'll take it off your hands. Thank you very much.
We can talk about the business side of things, which is interesting and fascinating. I want to talk more about what this means for the fans. You asked me last night, Holley, in a text, you said, does this make you feel a little insecure as a fan? Let's get into that. How does this make you feel as a Celtics fan? 617-779-0985. We continue. It's Toucher and Hardy, McCarthy, Holley, Lockhart in for the guys.
Good evening.
sports business. Learned that Holley hates his kids and sent them away without their phones for a month. And he's very excited about it.
You just like your girlfriend?
Apparently, yeah, I do that too.
He doesn't have a girlfriend anymore.
That's right. No, she broke up with me at 6:05 when I did the whole Walpole country girl
She
thing.
broke up with you as she slept.
Yes. Yeah, now I'm going to go home. My key's not going to work. And why isn't my passcode for
Stuff,
the garage working? Yeah.
Clothes thrown out on the front yard.
What the hell? Yeah, not a good scene for me. It's coming the whole way. It's a very, very educational program today with McCarthy, Holley, Lockhart in for the guys. To you at 617-779-0985. Michael's in Newton. Hi, Michael.
Hi. I was calling in because I've been listening to the Fenway Sports Group conversation now for the past day buying the Celtics. And my only question that I recently just thought of is LeBron is a part of the Fenway Sports Group as a minority owner. Just like Tom Brady trying to buy an NFL franchise playing, would that prevent John Henry from being able to buy the Celtics as somebody that has somebody actively within the NBA still within their group?
Oh, I don't think it would prevent John Henry from buying the Celtics at all. I don't know what it would mean for LeBron's involvement in it, but just because LeBron is an investor in Fenway Sports Group, could he not have a, stake of the Celtics? That's all that stuff can be worked out. I also don't even know, LeBron's going to be part of an NBA ownership group anyway someday, I would think, right?
He's talked about it. Yeah, he's talked about it. It's and he's definitely got. Now he doesn't have the money to own it on his own, but can you imagine a group saying, "Hey, LeBron James is a part of this"? Most ownership groups would accept having LeBron James be a co-owner.
Would Celtics fans accept LeBron James being co-owner of the Boston Celtics? What do you think their reaction would be to that, Holley? Celtics fans dealing with that?
Yeah, that'd be a problem. A little bit of a problem. Would he do it?
Of course he'd do it. Why wouldn't he do it?
No, he wouldn't. He wouldn't do it.
You don't think he'd want to be part owner of the Celtics?
Nope.
Why not?
The stuff he said about Boston, the stuff he said about the Celtics. I know business rules everything, and business makes for some strange bedfellows, but I don't know if that would be a good match.
Isn't that the best way to get back at us?
His ego is so huge, he would love to turn around the narrative here and be loved by the city of Boston. I think he
knows that's not happening.
I don't know.
I don't know if he wants to be loved, but that would be the ultimate power move, right? Oh, you don't like me? I've got issues with Boston. By the way, F you, I own you now. Isn't that the ultimate thing to do when you have stupid amounts of money?
Except he's not that guy. He's not he needs to be adored too much. He needs to be loved.
LeBron gets Kyrie involved in the Celtics ownership group. Yeah.
Clearly he needs to be. And this is a show for a different day. But can't you see it? Can't you see how needy LeBron is based on the coverage?
Mm-hmm.
Based on he not only does he run the Lakers, in a lot of ways he runs NBA media. Come on, you got JJ Redick is the head coach of the Lakers.
Highly qualified, Holley. I don't know what you're talking about.
And the criticism of him nationally is mild. It is mild because it's LeBron's guy. And I have no problem. I personally do not have a problem with a second-round pick, number 55 in the draft, being taken because that's LeBron's kid, Bronny James. But the reason some people who do have a problem with it, the reason they're kind of tempered, and they won't tell you, they won't give it to you 100, they won't tell you how they really feel about it. It's because LeBron runs everything. He needs to be in control, and he needs the majority. He needs the mainstream media to love him.
Well, nepotism has never existed in sports, Holley.
Never.
Not once. The fact that it has arrived to the NBA in the form of LeBron James, how could they?
Okay, it's not just nepotism in sports. Because I heard Beatles saying this yesterday. He hates nepotism in sports, and that's fine. It's not just sports. It's not just general managers and coaches and owners and now players. It's the media too.
Sure.
You got nepotism in the media.
No doubt.
And I'm not saying some of these guys aren't good. I think, Joe Buck is good. I know there's some Joe Buck haters, but Joe Buck's dad, Hall of Famer Jack Buck. Sean McDonough is very good, but Sean McDonough has opportunities because his father was Will McDonough. Right. I mean, that's a part of the reason.
Noah Eagle.
Yeah, the Eagles, the Alberts.
What about that? But the kid.
Chip Carey.
Collinsworth.
Yep.
Collinsworth. That's where Jack Collinsworth. That
Sims
kid has no business being on that show.
I mean,
because he's that guy's son, he's on there.
So yeah, I mean, you've got it just across the board.
No, it exists.
It's just it's the fact of American life.
It exists everywhere.
It's why I have this gig right now.
Right, Holley.
Holley, come on.
You've got that big Syracuse. Like you want to talk about nepotism, like that Syracuse thing. You've got that big Syracuse thing.
The Syracuse Mafia.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can't say. I'm glad you didn't say that yesterday with Ryan Johnston here. Mr. Syracuse himself. Did he come in with his S hat on?
No, he came in with this, you know what, very strategic move from RJ. RJ was proud of him yesterday. No Syracuse hat yesterday. You know what he had on?
What?
A B hat. Had the spoke B.
The 8-spoke B.
Trying to get that job, baby.
They're trying to get that job. I got to get that gig.
He should have
the gig.
Get that gig.
Come on. It's a no-brainer.
He is so good. He is so good, and I'm not just saying this because he works here. Ryan Johnston is legit on hockey play-by-play. He should get that job.
Hockey play-by-play and hockey knowledge. I love the hockey show that he does. I mean, it's great. So, yeah, he should have the job.
We got to get to the Bruins here. Elias Lindholm, Nikita Zadorov. Big day for them yesterday. We've been heavy Celtics, and we will in this hour. We have Daniel Kaplan, who's going to be joining us at 8:20 to bring
Score. Not paid for by the RJ Farnesson Committee.
Boston 98.5, the Sports Hub, the Beasley Media Group station. Sports Hub headlines.
The NBA and the NHL free agency rolls on. The Celtics have reached a deal with Jason Tatum. It's the richest deal in NBA history. 5 years, $314 million. Derek White also signed an extension for 4 years, $125 million. Bruins got into it yesterday. They signed Elias Lindholm to a 7-year deal for $54.25 million. Lindholm is 29 years old. He had 5 goals and 5 assists in 13 playoff games this past season. Boston also signed defenseman Nikita Zadorov to a 6-year deal. Both played in Vancouver last year. Jake DeBrusk heads to Vancouver on a 7-year deal. Red Sox are back in action tonight. They face the Miami Marlins in Miami. Cutter Crawford gets the start for the Sox. Crawford is 3-7 on the year with a 3.59 ERA. Sox are 8.5 games behind New York and Baltimore for the AL East and a game and a half out of the wild card race. And the U.S. men's national team lost 1-0 to Uruguay in the Copa America last night. Sports Hub headlines, they're brought to you by Fireworks Over the Border in Seabrook, New Hampshire. Visit fireworksusa.com. Must be 21 or older. Check with local police or fire regarding fireworks use in your community. I'm Mike Lockhart. I'm Boston's home for sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Boston's first FM all sports radio station. Let's go! All sports radio. Boston's home for sports. 98.5 The Sports Hub. On the air, online, on the air. This is how Boston sports fans start their day. Toucher and Hardy on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Mind if I read your text from last night, Holley? Mind if I do that?
No, hey, listen, it's all public. It's all public. My life is public, McCarthy. Go ahead.
You've made that very clear by sending your children away and gloating
go away.
About how great it was to have your children
away. Love them
away.
so much. I really do.
They took their phones.
Oh,
they
my
can't
goodness.
reach you. Yeah,
you know what,
exactly.
McCarthy? I think I may miss them. I really miss them right now.
I'm gonna make you miss them by the end of this program. I'm gonna make you feel bad. I'm gonna make you feel guilty.
Happening.
Father of the year over here, Mike Holley.
Father of the year.
Yeah, exactly. Let's send them out to Central Mass and never hear from them again. You said, huge story with the Celtics that really strikes at the passions and insecurities of the fan base. You're right. I feel insecure about this.
Why? Why are you insecure? Why do you feel insecure about it?
How could you not feel insecure about it? Wick was a good owner and is a good owner and has...
You already got him in the past tense.
I do. Because, well, I mean, trust me, he made it very clear yesterday. He's out, gone. Oh, but, he's going to be the governor in until 2028.
That's
He's
right.
not going to be the decision maker. How exactly does that work?
Well, ask Mark Cuban. He's doing the same thing.
I know it's a
That's
whole.
Mark. We saw him they kept showing him during the finals. Same thing.
We'll ask Daniel Kaplan coming up at 8:20 today. Sports business writer for the Athletic Sports Business Journal. You name it. But yes, you should feel insecure about this as a Celtics fan. This is bad news, Mike. This is bad news. He has dedicated, say what you will, but he has dedicated his time, passion, energy, most importantly, money, into trying to build a winner. And not all owners are like that. And, you can say what you will about it, maybe being an act or whatever it is. Of course, there's always some acting that goes into being an owner. I mean, that's,
of course,
you're playing politics. I get that. But it's pretty obvious that Wick has been a great owner of the Celtics. And to see him walk away, you should feel insecure as a Celtics fan. You should.
And the insecurity also comes down to, do they get it? Do they get what makes me excited about the team? Do they understand like the history of it? It's like even if you're 25, you understand why the Boston, what that means to Boston. Even if you're 25 years old, even if you didn't see Bill Russell play, you understand Bill Russell and Larry Bird and just the tradition. Like, for example, for the Celtics fans, real Celtics fans, understood from the start what a disaster it was that Rick Pitino took the president's title from Red Auerbach. Now, in a lot of organizations, you're the director of basketball operations, you're the president of basketball, whatever it doesn't matter, general manager, what's the title? But if you're a Celtics fan, you understood that you can't come in and take Red's title. I mean, that was just ridiculous.
Right, the pictures of Pitino holding the basketball in the team photo and not Red.
And notice when Danny Ainge came back to the organization, he was not going to be the president of the Celtics. He gave that back to Red. That's Red. So you worry about some of these things with an owner, especially an owner who is not local. And so if we look at it today, what owners do we complain about the most? The number one guy we complain about the most is John Henry.
John Henry.
Who is not a local owner, but who played a local owner for about 10 years. Did a great job.
Right.
Like Oscar. Give him the Oscar for 10 years. He was fantastic. He was phenomenal at it.
Right.
And the guy, we don't complain about this guy as much because, I think the salary structure changed in the NHL. And then his son moved to town, Charlie Jacobs. We used to complain about Jeremy Jacobs all the time. He's just in Buffalo.
Because he was an outsider.
Buffalo, we don't understand it. And so that's really what it comes down to in Boston in particular. Not only is it better to have local ownership, but local ownership that's really into it.
So
that you understand. You think, no matter what your issue is with Robert Kraft, you know that he knows about Sugar Bear Hamilton in 1976 against the Raiders. You know he knows about Beat the Fish and all this. He knows he was a big part of Bill Parcells. He knows the history of the Patriots. He knows that they played at Fenway Park and Harvard Stadium and all that stuff. There's security in that, even if you disagree with his decisions.
Do we overrate that, though?
No.
Because you nailed it. I mean, we are insecure about that. Being from here, being an outsider here is tough. It's really tough. I mean, you have to be from here, which is, the provincialism of Boston and all that. But do we overrate that when it comes to who would own the Boston Celtics? Yes or no?
I don't think it's overrated at all.
I don't think so either.
No. Because if you don't get it, if you don't get the history, if you don't understand the people, you will screw it up. You will make mistakes, and the question is, once you make those mistakes, are you going to double down on them, or will you say, oh, you know what, I got that one wrong?
So it's also about where you're going to spend your money and how you're going to spend your money, too. I mean, John Henry, you said, played the local for 10 years. John Henry invested in the Red Sox for 10 to 15 years like somebody with a vested local interest. And now that you're a part of a portfolio, he's treating you like a line item.
Yeah.
He's treating you like a math equation. So that's where the local thing comes in, understanding it and getting it. It really is, are you occasionally just going to spend some money emotionally? I mean, the Celtics, Wick has spent money emotionally on this team. Don't get me wrong. He's made a lot of money on the Celtics. He's about to make even more money on the Celtics by selling them. He's making a business decision, but for 22 years, Wick was invested where it counts. Not necessarily, I mean, yes, of course, he understands the franchise. You know, Red got the title back, all that. That matters, I get it, but I think it matters with the money more.
Oh, yeah.
It matters with the money more, and that's why I want it to be Pags. Is he going to be more likely to invest in the team than somebody from the outside who will come in with deep pockets and maybe invest in them for 5 or 10 years, and you're the new shiny toy, but eventually they buy something different and you're not the new shiny toy anymore? Somebody like Pags is going to be more likely to keep the Celtics as his shiny toy investment compared to somebody else. That's why the local thing matters.
Yeah, and like I'm thinking about before Pags, Gaston, you know, his father was involved, but it got to the point where he was local, kind of. He spent a lot of time in Greenwich. You know, local is Greenwich, Connecticut. You know, where all the people who are really struggling to make ends meet live in Greenwich, Connecticut.
That's tough spot.
Then he stopped coming to games. He just stopped coming to games.
Well, I mean, that's a long private flight up from Greenwich. Come on. I mean, do you know? I mean, how long?
What do you expect me to do?
I mean, come on.
I can't get a flight. You expect me to drive?
Do you see how far Hanscom is from Boston? Yeah. I mean, gee, I was out there yesterday. Like, geez, this is far outside the city. My God.
You don't want that guy to get bored. You don't want that guy to be like, oh, whatever. You know, somebody who is really into it. Like John Henry for, you know, I talked about those 10 years. I'm grateful for those 10 years.
You should
be. Those 10 years that he was really into it.
I am. John Henry, by the way, is the greatest owner in the history of the Boston Red Sox. There isn't a close second.
That's true. It's true. Even though he's got a couple of, not just a couple of years, man, like 5 or 6 years where it was just like, where are you?
Right. It's a disaster now, but for 15 years, it was pretty damn good.
But he gave himself enough room where even the disastrous years still put him far ahead of whoever second place is.
Well, I mean, the Red Sox, history of ownership is not exactly long and
not stellar.
No.
But he also had Tom Werner, too, to help those 15
and Lucchino.
years.
Right. And Lucchino, more importantly than anything.
Yeah, Lucchino. Lucchino kept him honest. And kept the ship moving. Like John Henry was so good. The only thing he didn't master was the accent. I mean, he had everything but a Boston accent for this first 10 years of ownership.
I park my car.
He probably messed around with that one too.
In Harvard Yard. He would have been more like kind of a Kennedy, like old school.
Old school.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of like a Joe Quimby type of thing. That would have been more the John Henry.
Good evening, Mr. Henry. We're from the BBC. Any word for the fans?
You're a bunch of rubes. Thank you. Yeah, no, he's probably need to work on the English accent and all that. But you're right, Holley. He did play the role. He did play the character well for a long time. But it's not just acting like you're from here or caring. It's putting your money where your mouth is. And whoever owns the Celtics is going to do that for a little bit because you're making a significant, a $5.5 billion investment. But if it's Jeff Bezos or whatever, 5 years from now, he's going to buy something new, right? And the Celtics are just going to become a line item. Just another piece of a portfolio, which is why you should hope that it's Pags. 617-779-0985. We have been, I would say, speculating for the last hour, spitballing. Talking about things. Am I qualified to talk about sports business?
Yes.
Just be honest with me.
Of course
Mike.
you are.
Why am I qualified to talk about sports business?
You're a fan. You're a fan. You're excited. You got ideas. You got opinions. You got questions. I have questions too. I have questions, and I think we got the right person to answer some of the questions I have.
We do. Daniel Kaplan, who is a longtime sports business writer for The Athletic, you name it, truly qualified to talk about all of this, will join us next. It's McCarthy, Holley, Lockhart, in for Toucher and Hardy.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Low testosterone causes a host of problems. These include low sex drive, bad sleep patterns, unproductive workouts, decreased energy, brain fog, and so much more.
Well, you always had 2021. You always have 21 to look forward to, or to remember.
Oh yeah, no, I remember it very fondly. And that was fun. It was legitimately fun. It was fake. It was all fake, but hey, it was fun nonetheless. Like John Henry being a fake local, as Holley was just saying. McCarthy, Holley, Lockhart. We've been talking about the sale of the Celtics, or the impending sale of the Celtics, I think with real authority so far this morning, which is why we need to bring in a real authority on this. Daniel Kaplan, a freelance sports business writer, spent many years at The Athletic and the Sports Business Journal covering stuff just like this. Daniel, thanks for joining us this morning.
Well, thanks for having me.
Is this a surprise to you at all, Daniel, that the Celtics are for sale?
It's a surprise, yes and no. I mean, I had no idea the Celtics were going to be put on the market, but we've seen a number of NBA teams sell in recent years. Mark Cuban with the Dallas Mavericks, Lazary with the Milwaukee Bucks, Michael Jordan with the Charlotte Hornets, and we just saw 15% of the Nets sold. So there's a desire to take advantage of these high franchise valuations.
So high franchise valuations are. What's your best guess? We keep referring to Forbes and 4.7 billion for the Celtics. Do you think that number is accurate? Is it too low? I mean, like what's your best guess of what we're talking about with the Celtics?
I mean, that number I think was put together several months ago, and there's the expectation that the new NBA national media deals will be 3 times the old deals. So I would think that 4.7 is low, although it does come with a caveat that Wick says he's not going to give up the governorship of the team until 2028. So there might be some discount factored in that the new owners don't get full control of the team for 4 or 5 years. But I would say 4.7 billion is a low valuation right now.
So why now, Daniel? Does this have to do with the current state of the NBA with the second apron and, the contract values and player contracts going way up? I mean, we've done the math. The Celtics, up, in 2025-26 could essentially have a $5 million payroll between, player salaries and the luxury tax. Is this because of that? How much of a factor is that in Wick's decision to sell, you think?
Well, I'm not privy to what's going through his mind and why. I mean, he said estate planning and that sort of thing. Which there's probably something to that, but I think there may be a feeling among some in the sports industry that we're reaching peak valuations among franchises, and that if you're going to sell, now's the time to sell. In terms of the salary cap and being way over, having the luxury tax assessments that they're confronting, that all can get factored into the sales price. I mean, it's like no different than buying a house that if it needs renovations, you pay less than if it doesn't need renovations. So the luxury tax bill facing the Celtics will simply get factored into the sales price.
All right, now you just referenced it, and I know when I read it yesterday, I said, come on, what does this even mean? When Wick put in the statement in the first paragraph, for estate planning purposes. Well, what? I just explain that to me, because I'm cynical, skeptical. I'm thinking, what does that have to do with selling the Celtics? What does that? Explain that to me, because I don't get it. What does that mean?
Well, usually when you hear estate planning with teams, it has to do with managing the transfer of the team to the heirs, the children of the owner. In this case, it's apparent that he's not going to pass on the team to any heirs, and they're going to be confronted with a massive inheritance tax bill because they bought the team for $360 million, and it's going to be sold for, let's say, $5.5-6 billion. That's a massive estate tax. So I'm not privy to his accounting, and I'm not totally in on the ins and outs of estate planning at that level. But clearly, there is something to that in terms of planning for that kind of tax hit. But my best guess is that, you have these guys who come from private equity backgrounds like here, and, they look at the team not as a asset to be passed on from generation to generation like so many other family-owned teams, but just as an asset that appreciates, and at a certain point you take your profits.
So you plan for that by selling the team. You plan for it. I'd rather sell the team than deal with or have somebody deal with an inheritance tax that is just off the charts.
Again, I'm not privy to,
I know this in general. I'm just saying, just so I understand it, just in general. I know it's maybe not specific to Wick, but just in theory, somebody who they could look at it that way of, hey, it is probably better business to sell it than to deal with the taxes.
It also I don't know what his other business is. If some are taking losses and he can offset the inheritance tax with those losses. It's without a proper examination of his whole full portfolio of companies and where they are in their life cycle and their profitability. It's tough to get at precisely, when he says estate planning, why he's saying that and why it makes sense right now.
Yeah, Daniel, I think what you're saying, and Daniel Kaplan joining us on the Volkswagen Dealers Expert Hotline, sports business writer for The Athletic and Sports Business Journal, I think you got to it. It's a good time to sell. It's a really good time to sell, and Wick's going to make a lot of money, and that's kind of the decision he's making here. Is that a fair assessment?
I think that's a very fair assessment. And as you watch in sports, as people from private equity, we hear about private equity investing in teams, but we also see private equity becoming owner. The people who run private equity firms individually becoming owners of teams, and they may not look at it. We always hear how it's a civic asset. It's a public trust when someone owns a sports team. A lot of these people who come in from those backgrounds, they don't look at it that way. They may look at it just as an asset that appreciates, and they think maybe we've reached peak value, or now it's a time to sell for whatever reasons, whether it be estate planning or other business reasons, and they sell. It's not your mom and pop's ownership where the expectation is to pass it on to the next generation.
Daniel, I think, the thing that's emerging here is, we got late last night Steve Paliuka, who is, a minority owner of the Celtics and obviously pretty front-facing, for the organization in regards to the ownership group. He expressed in no uncertain terms that he plans, to try to buy the Celtics. I would have to imagine that there are a lot of big pocket, folks. You can name them, right? The Jeff Bezoses of the world who will probably also be interested. How do you see this playing out? Like, just your sense in this, your read on this. How much of a chance does somebody like a Steve Paliuka have? Compared to the big pocket folks elsewhere. Considering that Paliuka also has a stake in the team already, how much does that matter in this process?
Well, that gives him a head start for sure, since he's already vetted, and he doesn't have to buy the full team. But the Celtics are a historic sports brand. They're up the Lakers, the Yankees, the Celtics, the Cowboys. If it's an auction, it's an auction that's going to. You mentioned Bezos, but it's going to attract. Just the creme de la creme of high, of American wealth, and maybe international wealth too. So I've seen John Henry's name kicked around. I think it's a little early to be picking out who might buy the team, but there won't be a shortage of bidders for a brand like the Celtics.
I have a question, Daniel, on this, and we talked about it earlier. I just want to get your take on it. The Celtics don't own their building. They're renters, so to speak. And so if you are a prospective owner and you come in and you say, I'm spending a bunch of money on this franchise and I don't own the facility. Let's say I don't want to build a new arena either. That's just too much money. Can you think of examples of somebody who has come in and they are able to tap into revenue streams that other people haven't thought of? And I guess my question is, do you see those revenue streams out there, even though maybe this is the peak time to sell? maybe there's another level to get to for somebody.
Well, not controlling the building is not advantageous. That is something all teams want, and I don't know what the lease arrangement is between Delaware North and the Celtics, who controls what, but that may be something a new owner wants to take a look at. So, and if that doesn't go well, I wouldn't be surprised to start to hear threats of building a new arena, going elsewhere in Boston. So you're right that they don't control their regional sports network either. So from that respect, it's not ideal. But the percentage of local versus national money is just going more and more in the direction of national money, as we see with this new media deal. So while it's a concern, and you'd want to try to find more revenue streams out of your arena, and maybe develop land around the arena, which is the hot thing to do right now. It's still, the NBA is gushing money, so I don't think anyone thinking about the Celtics is going to say, well, I don't control the arena, so I don't want the team.
Interesting stuff. Daniel Kaplan, the Athletic Sports Business Journal, longtime sports business writer. Thanks for sharing your insights this morning. Much appreciated.
Thanks for having me.
All right, sounds good. Daniel Kaplan is all of our guests, joining us on the Volkswagen Dealers Expert Hotline. Some of your questions answered there. Thought that was some good stuff. Learn about, who could potentially be involved in this.
You feel better?
No.
No.
I mean,
still...
I think I'm interested. I'm more interested now, but do I feel better? No.
A little bit more informed.
No, I'm more informed.
More
but the
informed,
more,
but
the
I
more
don't
you
feel
know. Right, exactly. Ignorance is bliss, Holley.
It's
what
like
are you talking about?
Like you're a Celtics fan yesterday. You're like, I just want to hear something that makes me feel a little bit better. No, that's not it yet. No, I'm not there. The more you read, hey, it's a news story. No, still don't feel better.
Well, as I often find with the things in my life I don't like, I just tend to ignore them and avoid them. Why don't we talk about the Bruins in that sense? That didn't make me feel better at all. I feel more informed, but it didn't make me feel better.
The Bruins, talking about the Bruins, will make you feel better.
It should.
It should.
Good day. Bad day for the Celtics yesterday.
Great day for the Bruins.
Great day for the Bruins. How great, though? Let's get into that. 617-779-0985. Mike Holley's here. Mike Lockhart's here. McCarthy in for Toucher and Hardy.
Joining this organization and Original Six, and so much history and so many good players on the team, and obviously looking at their playoff series against Florida, they're pretty much right there. So I mean, it was exciting to have the opportunity to join this organization.
See, I think that's the real question. Yesterday was a great day for the Bruins, really good day for the Bruins. Elias Lindholm says they're right there with Florida. Are they? Michael Holley, are they right there with Florida?
No.
I agree.
Right there with Florida? But look, they're not right there with Florida, but it's not like the gap is so insurmountable they'll never get there. That's not it. Florida, and it's just because Florida won. Because Florida won. Now imagine how would you answer the question if, and I know what Florida did to you in the playoffs, but same thing happens in the playoffs. Now you get Lindholm, you get Zadorov, and then Florida, let's say Florida blew a 3-zip lead to the Edmonton Oilers. And Edmonton comes back and they treat it, they win game 7 just like they won games 4, 5, and 6. Dominant. How would you answer that question? It's only because Florida, and what my point is, Florida was able to get over the mental hurdle of we won it. Like nobody celebrates a team that gets to the Stanley Cup final and loses. We've seen that. I mean, the Bruins did that. The Bruins have done that a couple of times since 2011. Got to the Stanley Cup final and lost. So you're not celebrating that. You're saying, okay, what is it? What do you need to do to get over the hump? Florida got over the hump. And so you got to say, give them the respect. But the Bruins got better. Did you look at the Bruins? Maybe you did this year. I'm going to answer my own question. But last year you didn't. Did you look at the Bruins against the Panthers and say they can't play with that team?
No. They were better. They should have been better than Florida 2 years ago.
No, this past postseason, you may have said that.
Oh, I definitely said there's a huge gap because there was. They couldn't play with them, and there were 2 primary reasons. I think there were 3 reasons they couldn't play with them, and I think the Bruins have addressed 2 of them. They weren't stout enough in their own end, which is always a problem for them. They addressed that with Zadorov, a 6'6" guy out there who goes and hits like a Mack truck. I mean, when was the last time?
You've been looking at those hits again, haven't you?
Those hits. Oh, my God. I mean, pants off this morning for that. Things got a little steamy in the studio looking at those hits. When was the last time the Bruins had a defenseman who was big and played big?
Chara.
And Chara was obviously a shell of himself by the end of it.
Sure.
But they addressed that. And is Zadorov the best defenseman in the NHL? No, but it's a need.
Right.
Fills a need. So that was one need. The second need was a guy to win faceoffs because they didn't have anybody who can win a faceoff. Lindholm is that. The third is just more high-end offensive talent, more high-end scoring. They haven't addressed that. Lindholm had 42 goals, in 2022. I don't think he's that type of player. But 2 of their 3 biggest needs, they addressed. So, yes, they've closed the gap. I don't think they've closed the gap as much as it needs to be, but they've closed the gap. It was a good day for the Bruins.
Who would they miss the most, though? Who would they miss the most? I mean, you lose Fortport, you lose Grzelcyk, you lose, okay, here he is.
DeBrusk.
Oh, Jake DeBrusk. You're a Jake DeBrusk fan?
No, I'm not
a fan.
But they'll miss him in the sense that they haven't necessarily replaced him.
Lockhart, who do they miss the most out of the guys who are walking out?
I guess it would be DeBrusque. I'm not overwhelmed by the names walking out of the door. I mean, and what did he have, 19 goals last year?
Danton Heinen, gone. No.
I feel like Trent Frederick is close enough to DeBrusque in scoring, at least.
So that's the question. Can Frederick, take a jump and be a legitimate top 6 winger? Maybe. I mean, I still lean no, but I'm actually allowing that question to be asked, and I never would have 2 years ago. No, it's DeBrusque. DeBrusque is the guy they're going to miss the most, but it's not necessarily a Jake DeBrusque thing. Ty Anderson has had a great line about Jake DeBrusque. He said, he's the devil you know. Well, it's time to start getting to know the devil you don't know. Get to know that guy a little bit more. The problem is they're not going to replace him. They've taken the $6 million you would have given to DeBrusque, and they've given $7.75 to Elias Lindholm. You have a little over $10 million left. $8 million of that is going to Swayman. This is it. This is your team. Right now, your top line, Lindholm, Zacha, Pastrnak. Good, right?
Well, you'll have a little over $1 million to sign somebody else, too, if Swayman gets 8.
Right. So, and but do you want to save that for the trading deadline? Right. There you have it.
Man, you're a tough grader. Now, you said you just read the top line, and you said, good.
Good.
That's more than good, isn't it?
In the regular season.
I'm not crazy about Zacha after what I saw this past year. But I am a tough grader. It's way better than what they had. All right, the Bruins are significantly better than they were on Sunday. I mean, is it the best line in the NHL? No. But do I think Lindholm and Pastrnak, if they develop good chemistry, that could really be something there. I think the NHL is still a little bit more about duos than it is about lines. Like, if you have a good duo, that can form a good line. Second line, Coyle, Marchand, somebody else. That's the big hole right now.
Yeah,
you need a second line
somebody
right
else.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the Bruins have always missed that somebody else. If they had a second line right wing in 2019, they win a cup. They still don't have that guy.
No. You're talking about when they lost to the Blues?
The Blues. They were double shifting Pastrnak most of that series.
That wasn't, I don't think that was the issue, though.
Well,
they were just getting beaten up.
I was going to say,
it's
the same. It's the same theme. It's the same theme for the Bruins, like the last 5 or 6 years.
And honestly, when you think about the Florida Panthers, they have 2 now long runs in a row, Stanley Cup runs. That's going to affect them in the future.
Sure.
Maybe next year or the year after, but at some point they're going to run out of gas. You saw it with the Nuggets this year.
If you, though, say in 2019, not that I want to rehash it, if you had a Tom Wilson on your second line, somebody with size and skill, that size-skill combination that the Bruins just can't find, you win the cup. You do. So they don't have that. They address the size on the blue line, which is huge. They don't have that big power forward out there. They need a big power forward on that second line. They desperately do, and they don't have that guy.
McCarthy, we're doing so well. Now I'm triggered. Lockhart, he triggered me.
Uh-oh. What I'm here to do.
He triggered me. You know why?
It's my job.
I know why. It had nothing to do with if they had one more guy in 2019, they would have beat the Blues. You know why they lost to the Blues? This is my thing. You don't understand. I've been in therapy over this. I came out of it. I was okay, and now you're taking me right back. I've relapsed.
Bringing you back to a bad place.
Okay, here it is.
Because this is the Bruins' experience, Holley. It is.
Okay, but you know why they lost? They lost. If you remember, dominant playoff run. Oh, God, I can't believe you're taking me back here. They had a dominant playoff run in 2019. You can look it up. Look it up. Didn't they sweep Eastern Conference Finals, right?
Yep. Mm.
They swept. They had a huge gap between the conference finals and the Stanley Cup final. All you got to do, it's hockey. Nobody discloses injuries until you get eliminated. Everybody's banged up in the NHL playoffs. That's a hockey thing, right? He's a hockey guy. Oh, can you believe this guy played with a collapsed lung? Can you believe this guy had like a spinal injury? They're like, oh my God.
We're amputating his leg tomorrow.
Oh, man. He played without his kneecap. His kneecap was falling off. All these things you hear about in hockey. So everybody's hurt. And the Bruins overthought it. They said, oh, we need to get some action in because there's a long gap between the conference finals and the Stanley Cup final. So what do? They have this stupid scrimmage. What happens in the scrimmage?
Marchand gets hurt.
Marchand gets hurt. And he can barely like hold his stick after that. And then he lost his mind, too many men on the ice, at the beginning of Game 7. That's why they lost, because they overthought it.
That was another problem this year. Too many men on the ice.
Too many.
They could fix that.
It was like a thing for them.
Seven too many men on the ice
They had
penalties.
more
An
than
NHL
anybody.
record.
More than anybody in hockey.
In 13 games. Not 7 times 4, not 28. 13. They played 13 games and set the damn record.
How does that happen? How does that happen?
I would hope that was addressed this offseason.
Yeah, you'd think.
Get some assistant coach in there who can. Is
or a head coach.
Jay Leach. Can he handle the? Can he count to 5 out there? No. We got 6. We got 6 skaters. Not good. I have a way for the Bruins to get better. Again, great.
There we go.
Great day. Great day yesterday. They've closed the gap, but they really, I'm telling, like, I want that little, it's always that one little thing that they don't have. They're missing that one piece. I think this team is really missing one piece. They need a power second line right wing. I don't have the name for you, but I can tell you how you can get them.
Nope.
We'll do that.
You don't have, well, that is
big tease, McCarthy.
Now that is
today.
a huge tease. I don't have the name for him, but I can tell you how we can get him.
Well, maybe we'll come up with a name.
He who shall shall not be named.
I can do some research in the next 5 minutes and try and find a guy who would fit, but that's not my job. I'm just here to tell Don Sweeney how to do his job without actually telling him how to do his job. That, Michael Holley, not that you know, that's how you do radio. It's McCarthy, Holley, Lockhart in for Toucher and Hardy.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy. Fletcher and Hardy on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Publicly.
I haven't taken it into the sports laboratory, as Hardy would call it. But I know again, Bruins, great day yesterday. What's the one thing that can get them over the hump? Because I don't think Elias Lindholm and Nikita Zadorov gets them over the hump when it comes to Florida. Hampus Lindholm's your problem. Hampus Lindholm's the issue. Mason Lohrei had a great playoffs last year, left shot defenseman. I thought Wotherspoon gave them something last year. 1 year, $800,000. Hampus Lindholm, and you add Zadorov in. Those are your 3 left shot defensemen. Hampus Lindholm, 6 more years. 6 more years. At $6.5 million. $6.5 million. Bad contract, guys? Bad contract?
Still a young guy, right? Was he 30?
Yes, 30. He is 30 right now.
30 years old. Oh, come on. McCarthy, he's only 30 years old.
He's fine. He's a fine player. It's a bad deal.
Oh, do you remember that pass, though? What a great pass.
Great pass.
He was celebrated when he
set it up. Oh, and listen, and it was not a simple one. It was that took some hockey instincts. That took some imagination to kind of make that thing happen. Hit him in stride. There it is.
Great pass.
Win a series. Get you out of the first round. Save jobs.
Thank you. Goodbye.
That was a pass that saved jobs.
Thank you. Goodbye. Thank you for your service. See you later. Got to ship him out of here. He's the problem. And you might listen. That's a hard deal to get rid of. But you need to find somebody who's also on a bad deal, who's a winger, and you try and get the most out of him. Change of scenery type of thing.
So one more deal. You deal that away. You deal away the Hampus Lindholm problem for somebody else's problem.
Yes.
And you hope you can revive that guy.
Yes. And that's a hockey trade.
So bad contract for bad contract.
And that's something that I think Don Sweeney has not been totally willing to do. Like, it always feels to me, and this year the Bruins were, of course, more than one guy short. But you can make an argument, over in many years recently, they're one guy short, or they're missing a little something. I, made the argument 2019. If they had a power right wing in 2019, they win the cup. They've made a lot of improvements. They really have. But if you really want to close the gap between you and Florida, you need another winger. And you need to get Hampus Lindholm's contract out of here. Get creative. Do a little something. It's great that they went out and spent this money. They made the team significantly better. But can Don Sweeney go that one more step? And I don't think he's going to. Ty Anderson saying yesterday they're pretty much done on the wing. The plan right now is just, hope that Lysell develops or hope that Patra takes a jump. And you do have to hope for that, right? But it just feels like they're one guy short. They're stopping one short. And, I mean, again, you have to stop short because it's a hard cap league. You need another $8 million to go to Swayman. But can we get creative? Can you get Lindholm out of here? That's the key, and that's where Don Sweeney's been so willing to hold on to this core. I just need you to be willing to make a deal here or there. Make a hockey trade here or there. Swap a core guy out. And Lindholm is a core guy. But is he going to hold you back? Like Jake DeBrusk, fine player, right? Kind of feels like you should have been willing to move on from him and make a hockey trade somewhere along the way. It's almost like they made kind of a hockey trade yesterday. DeBrusk's money goes out, Lindholm's money comes in. Can you do that with an actual one-for-one swap? Can you do that? Can you make that happen? That's what I want to see the Bruins do.
Here's my problem. You're being creative too soon. You're creative. I like the idea of it. It's just too soon, because if you trade Lindholm right now you are saying his value is low, and now I have to accept somebody who is the Hampus Lindholm of, Montreal. It wouldn't be Montreal. Right. Carolina.
Sure.
Utah. The Utah Hockey Club. That don't get me started on that. Or somebody else. How about this? Lindholm played this way. My thought is he played so poorly before the pass that changed the conversation, that changed the narrative. He played so poorly. He was so bad. I was like, he's got to be hurt. Hampus Lindholm was hurt last year in the postseason. There's no way he is as bad as he looked. So what you do is you get his value up a little bit more. You take advantage of a fresh, healthy Hampus Lindholm, and you move his ass before the deadline, because he's going to go back the other way.
You think Don Sweeney's going to do that?
I think he should. Does he have a history of doing that? No. But get his value back up a little bit, and then you don't have to go bottom of the barrel and say, hey, here, let me trade my trash for your trash. I can take it up a little bit. Like, hey, let me trade my above-average guy for your above-average guy. You can get a better player.
All right, calls on the Bruins, 617-779-0985. I see you on the line. We'll take care of you. Holley's here. McCarthy's here. We got Mike Lockhart with the Sports Hub headlines. No commercials, just the headlines here. Then right back with you.
From the Town Fair Tire Studios, relatable, reliable, and even relentless at times.
We're doing it live.
This is Boston's home for sports. WBC FM and HD Boston 98.5, the Sports Hub. Sports Hub headlines.
NBA and NHL free agency continue to roll on. The Celtics have signed Jason Tatum to the league's richest deal, 5 years, $314 million. Derek White also signed a 4-year, $125 million extension. Bruins got into it. They signed Elias Lindholm to a 7-year, $54 million deal. Lindholm is 29 years old. He had 5 goals and 5 assists in 13 playoff games this past season. Boston also signed defenseman Nikita Zadorov to a 6-year, $30 million contract. Both played for Vancouver last season, and Jake DeBrusk is headed to Vancouver on a 7-year, $38 million deal. Red Sox are back at it tonight. They face the Marlins in Miami. Carter Crawford gets the start for Boston. Sox are 8.5 games behind New York and Baltimore in the AL East. Game and a half out of the wild card race, and the U.S. men's national team lost 1-0 to Uruguay in the Copa America yesterday. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by VA New England. If you or a family member served our country honorably for 2 years or more, they'll be eligible for benefits from VA New England. Go to va.gov or call 1-800-MY-VA-411. I'm Mike Lockhart. I'm Boston's home for sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
This is Jaylen Brown.
Jaylen Brown turns the corner. Finger roll is up and good. Scoring the foul.
Listen to home of the Boston Celtics, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Dutcher and Hardy, the reviews are in.
I got to stay on talk about you. Give me about 5 minutes of my time.
Hear what he said. Now more of on the Sports Hub.
Any update on a former Hurricane, Elias Lindholm? Is he going to Boston? What are you hearing?
Boston.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. He's agreed to a deal with the Boston Bruins, and this was something that was kind of leading in. I think his previous former teammate on the back end, now current again, Nikita Zadorov will be joining him. But it looks like, and this was something from Lindholm's side that the Bruins almost traded for him during the season before he went to Vancouver. He was high up on their list, and vice versa. He clearly does want to be in Boston. So he locks into a long-term deal. I don't know the specifics just yet, but Lindholm's a Bruin. Looks like Zadorov's joining him, and the Boston Bruins, another team that wanted to check a few boxes again, and they're able to pull this off and get some early work done here as the doors just opened.
David Pagnotta, NHL Network, as everything went down yesterday, and then it was all instantly ignored because the Celtics went on the market. McCarthy, Holley, Lockhart, in for Dutcher and Hardy. 617-779-0985. Biggest day in free agency ever for the Bruins, really, when you think, from a financial aspect. I mean, it's not signing Chara years ago. But Elias Lindholm. Right. Too many Lindholms around here. We only need one. Ship Hampus out of here. The largest free agent contract in Bruins history. 7 years, $7.5 million. Which, as I pointed out earlier, everybody thinks is an overpay. Good for 35th average annual value among centers in the NHL. 35th.
So you got a good deal. Ultimately, you got a good deal. You got a deal that puts you in line with.
I'd have to look.
Put you in line with the rest of the league. If you want that guy, unless you draft him and develop him, you're going to have to pay. That's what you have to pay.
It's a good deal in the sense that, of course it's an overpay. You always overpay on the market. I get that, but it is not an overpay. It is not a ridiculous overpay.
Not setting the market.
You're not setting the market. The fact that you got him for under $8 million and he is the top center on the market, to me is a total steal. It is, and it's your most important need. We watched that Florida series. They didn't have a single guy who could win a faceoff. So yes, it's a good day.
You know what they should have done? Like you mentioned Don Sweeney, and hey, will Don Sweeney make this deal? They should have just made a trade with the Canucks. I mean, pretty much. I mean, why not do this? Why are we going to free agency? You can control the cost a little bit more. Trade your guys to the Canucks. Have your Canucks trade their guys to you. That's what you did anyway. Everybody's the Bruins went to the Canucks, and the Canucks came to the Bruins.
Didn't happen at the trading deadline.
Yeah.
When he went from Calgary
It was
to
rumored.
Vancouver.
It was rumored. So you pretty much got what was rumored.
And they've been tied to Lindholm for a long time, and as they should. I mean, it's obvious. Anybody can see that this was a need. The fact that you got him for under $8 million, I do say, is a bit of a steal. An overpay, sure, because you always overpay on the market. And is he truly a $7.75 million a year player? I don't know about that, but compared to what everybody else is getting in the league and compared to what I thought you were going to have to pay entering this offseason for the number one center on the market, I'll take it, man. I'll take it. Good day for the Bruins yesterday. To you at 617-779-0985. Tom's in Westboro. Hey, Tom.
Guys, you're probably not going to agree with this whatsoever, and I called Felder Maz on it last week, but I have a feeling that they're not going to re-sign Swayman.
Oh, wow.
Why is that? I just think they're going to stick with the guy that they just, even though I don't think he's that good, I think that they just gave Boosie an extension for a year, two-way contract. I think they probably look at him as the future, and they're probably looking at having goalie Bob work with this guy they just got from, was it Ottawa, I think?
Corpusalo.
And having him as the starter for now, having Boosie as the backup, and hopefully Boosie wins the job, and now they're only paying like $3.5 million for goaltending, and they can spend the money on somebody else.
Tom, have you watched Corpusalo play?
Yeah, he stinks.
Yeah, he's awful. And thanks for the call. So I love how he says the Bruins.
Yeah, I watched him. Yeah, he's not very good.
Well, hey, listen,
terrible.
Florida didn't have a goalie going into last year's playoffs, and they made a run all the way to the Stanley Cup Finals. So anything can happen, but yeah, I don't agree with that
When
at all.
you say they didn't have a goalie, I get that Bobrovsky had been kind of a disaster, but I mean, Bobrovsky is the highest paid goalie in hockey, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, he's certainly right up there. I mean, the guy might go to the Hall of Fame one day. So, I mean, I get what you're saying on that, but they tried to have a goalie going into last year, and it eventually went back to Bobrovsky. But I mean, you don't pay Jonas Corpusalo $3 million to be your starter, and then have Brandon Boosie. Like, come on, really?
Jeremy's always been a priority for us.
Who's somebody else? Now, if I want to play along with it, he says, hey, they don't sign Swayman and they go with somebody else. Who's the somebody else?
Yeah, there isn't
Because
somebody else.
you can't do this. Like, first of all, I don't think they would do it. But if you do it, you got to continue to go big. You got to say, hey, look, we feel like we can control the goaltending situation, but we need we need a right wing.
Right.
We need somebody who is like a 30-goal guy. And we're going to go is there a 30-goal guy just sitting out there in free agency waiting for you?
So if you weren't going to...
For $6 million or $7 million, because you have to, if you're not going to pay Swayman, you better go get somebody who just blows your mind and you say, we're going to be this kind of team, that we're going to be a completely different model than we've been before. We're just going to come with line after line. We're going to put pressure on you.
That doesn't fit the Bruins model.
I don't even see it. I can't even imagine.
Having good goaltending gets you to the Stanley Cup playoffs, which is the most important thing for the Bruins. I think we can all agree with that. That is the ownership model. And two, if you were going to move on from Swayman, and I get that there are contract issues, and it feels like it's been bumpy and it's been rocky because it has been. But if you were going to move on,
negotiations.
Yeah, but this one feels a little bit bumpier than it should be, right? I mean, Swayman's had some issues with them. You go back to the arbitration hearing and him mentioning it during the season. Yeah, this thing has been rocky. But if they weren't going to commit to Swayman, ultimately, they would have traded him instead of Allmark. Swayman probably would have been worth more than Allmark. He definitely would have been worth more than Allmark.
Oh, yeah.
So you're going to tell me, like, now you're going to turn around and trade Swayman? No, they're going to get this done. They're going to have to pay him $8 million a year. They're probably trying not to, and eventually they're going to have to cave and give it to him.
Well, listen, Mr. President,
Union President,
Matt McCarthy. You know how it is when it comes to negotiating. It's an easy negotiation when you do what management wants you to do. That's the only time it's an easy negotiation. You take the deal that they want you to take. And so Swayman, we know Swayman is not that guy. That's why he wound up in arbitration last year. Oh, wait a minute. You want me? No. I don't see it the way you do. He's a very bright guy. His story of his dad's a physician. And they got some brain power up there. And so he understands his worth. He understands, especially now with the trade of Allmark, he's got leverage. So if the employee, so to speak, has leverage, it's going to be a tougher negotiation. They probably want him to take $7 million, $7.5 million. He's like, I'm not taking that. I'm taking $8 million.
And he should get $8 million.
And so that's what the bumpiness is. But it's going to get done.
No, it will get done because
it is, as I said yesterday, it's done. Lockhart, don't worry. Deal's done.
Deal's done.
What time is it? 9/11.
Yep.
So I wanted it yesterday, or like around before 10:02. We were off the air like at 9:56?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay, 53. 9:53 today.
How about 9:12? Give us something now.
Give it right now.
Wouldn't hate that. Instead, it's always middays. Isn't that what you guys say? The morning
usually,
show. It's always middays. It happens at 10 o'clock. Breaking
the
news.
only
all
one
that.
we ever got, I think, was like Bergeron retiring at like 9.
Yeah.
That's the only one.
We got 9:40. I got 9:46. I'll back it up a little bit. 9:46.
Let's hear from Don Sweeney. He spoke yesterday on Jeremy Swayman's situation, which Michael Holley, you just heard it. He says it's done.
It's done.
Don,
the deal's been done. It's just in a drawer somewhere. Come on,
Don.
Sweeney.
Is it done? What's the deal?
Yeah, I would say that's how I sit here today. And as I referenced, Jeremy's always been a priority for us. We're in a good spot because we have depth in net right now, but he's the priority now as I sit today. I don't have a timeline. So, I'll be patient in every other thing that we do.
He's got to be kidding me, right, with we have depth in net. I mean, you want to talk about a negotiation tactic. Oh, we have depth in net. Really? A guy who's never played in the league, and Korpisalo, who shouldn't play in the league?
He gave up 168 goals last season.
168 goals?
Yes.
168 goals.
Last season.
How is that possible? 168 goals at $3 million per. That guy.
But what was the save
having
percentage?
A good agent.
What was the save percentage? That was,
it was .890.
That's not good.
Only .890. That's it.
Feels bad.
0 shutouts.
No, you don't say. Really? With 168 goals, that guy didn't have a shutout?
Not one.
Somewhere along the way.
Not even one night where he was on fire.
No. We have depth in net. You got to be kidding me with that.
Well, they have players.
Right, they have guys who have actually he has put on goalie pads before.
They have jerseys and everything.
But in our system, like all the cliches, in our system, we're going to ask him to do something. He's going to be protected. Baby. We saw some things that he could take advantage of. There's some resources there that we have for him. It's done now. Don't worry about it.
Oh, no, it has to be done. I mean, I don't think it's done yet, but it will be done.
So if with this deal done, and it really is. It won't be announced at 9:46 or 9:42, whatever I want it to happen, the time I want it to happen at. Your expectation is what for this team? Like, they're an interesting team.
Yeah.
In that, if you look at all 4 teams here, the 4 and go 5, throw the Revolution in there. Give the Revolution a bone. But the 4 teams that I'm thinking of, the Patriots, you have an expectation of what they're going to be. If they win, for most people, if they win 6 or 7 games and score 23 points a game, you'll be happy. Based on what you saw last year. They go from 4 wins to 7, you'll be happy. But you don't expect much from the Patriots. You don't expect much from your Red Sox. If they stay in wild card contention, if they actually make a trade at the deadline or a couple of trades, you'll be happy. Celtics, your expectation championship level. Bruins, what's your expectation?
At this point, for me, it's a run at the cup. Like a run of the.
So now after these signings, you say run at the cup.
I'm a run at getting into the Stanley Cup Finals.
Eastern Conference Finals feels.
Yes.
You get to the second round last year with a team that, I mean, let's be honest, they overachieved to get to 6 games against Florida. I don't think they were even close to that. It's hard to say. Do you face Florida in the second round again?
Right,
because I mean, they're better than you, but you should be contending for the Eastern Conference Finals. You should be kind of a second tier cup contender. If the road breaks your way, maybe you go around farther than you're capable of, type of thing. But no, I mean, they should be in the mix, Holley. I mean, they've got a good team. Which is why I'm saying oh, if you just had a power second line right wing, like where would you be? Like I yearn for that as a Bruins fan. You should. Like it shouldn't just be we're good enough to make the second round every year, which is essentially what they've been for a while now.
You know what your Bruins fandom becomes? Your Bruins fandom becomes what the Celtics just went through in the 2023-24 season, in that you've seen so much in the regular season. The Celtics, before the championship, all those wins, all those conference finals appearances, and a lot of fans has got to the point, it's like, oh, that's nice, and I'm excited about it, but show me in the postseason. So when the Bruins open against the Florida Panthers and on banner night in Florida, and they win 4-2, a lot of fans will shrug. I'm like, okay, I've seen you do well against the Panthers in the regular season before. What about the playoffs? So the 2024-25 season for the Bruins will be, what about the playoffs? They're going to have another. They'll probably start 13-1-1 again.
They're built to be a great regular season
unbelievable.
team. Again.
Yep. Like Lindholm is going to look great.
Yep.
You're going to continue. Like not only will your pants be down, now your pants will be off looking at these hits.
I'm not even going to put pants on.
All right.
I mean, I'm not with Zadorov on the team. No way.
All right. You'll be excited. They'll have that checkpoint. Like, what's their record around Thanksgiving? They're going to look great. They'll be a top 3 team. And then it's all about the playoffs.
Yep.
So that's the question. Do these moves change the playoff conversation? And we're not going to know until April. It'll be April. Right?
Yep. That's who they are. And that's who they've been. Show me. Show me. I mean, that's how you should feel as a Bruins fan. That's certainly how I felt this past year. And you know what? They overachieved. But this team, as presently constructed, is a really solid hockey team. It is. They had a good day yesterday. Yesterday was a good day. But pardon me for being a typical Bruins fan and saying, yeah, but how far is it really going to get you? I still think Florida's better. They've closed the gap, so good day yesterday, no doubt about it. But how do you continue to close that gap? It really is going to come down to somebody like Patra or Lysell really taking a big jump.
Yeah.
They need something like that. Because you know who I saw that from? I saw that from Lohrei. And that made me feel different about that blue. I feel good about the Bruins on the blue line. I feel as good about the Bruins on the blue line as I have in a long time with the group they've assembled. You had Zadorov with the size. You had Lohrei with his ability. First full year in the league. I'm feeling good about it. No, don't be negative over there, Holley.
No, I'm not being negative. I think you're missing the major guys. How do teams win championships?
Star players.
Okay,
Star players.
right, exactly. Like the complementary players absolutely play a role in on championship teams, but your stars have to go to another level.
And your goalie has to be hot.
Okay, that's a big part of it. But why do we have a long streak? We had that long streak that was snapped last year of Charlie Mack and his playoff drought, scoring drought. Okay, that's where you got to go. You got to look at who are your stars and what do your stars do when it matters. Okay, so Florida, why did they win? We just crapping on Bobrovsky, right? So that wasn't it. I mean, it wasn't. That was it in Game 7. He was opportunistic. He was lucky in Game 7 because Edmonton had tons of chances. They had tons of chances in Game 7. They didn't cash in, but they were great because you keep looking at, oh my God, here's Reinhart again. Oh, Kachuk. Oh my God, is it Matt, Keith? Which Kachuk? Oh my God. And at times it was Matt and Keith. He was all over the place. So stars got to show up. Your stars have to show up. And we've seen the Bruins in the playoffs. We come out of the playoffs saying, hey, where was Pasternak? Where was Charlie McAvoy? Why does Hampus Lindholm look so bad? You get to that level where the stars actually play to their contracts and play to their names, then you'll have that Stanley. Then you'll have that parade in June. You have a nice little. You remember that parade? Where were you in June 2011 when Bergeron and Marchand were singing Black and Yellow together? You remember that?
How could you forget it?
When the T was shut down, and some of you were still mad because you were waiting for a T that never came.
Joe Murray waiting for the damn green line.
Well, Well, that's always a problem.
Still gets
that's
mentioned
always
today
a
in
problem.
the
Wait for the
Joe
green
Show
line.
Open. 2-mile wait to get
You
past
might
the
as
green
well
line.
walk.
Yeah. Hey, Lockhart, did you know that we are in the presence of the inventor of the
Oh,
greatest
come on now.
of the greatest segment in Boston sports radio history?
Do we have
Shooting the breeze?
Do we have it?
Close to it.
Do we have the infrastructure for
I
this?
don't know. Lockhart said at 6 a.m., he said, guys, we don't get calls on this show. He said that publicly.
Yeah.
I said, hey, what's the call volume like? And you're like, nobody ever
Poor.
calls.
It's
yeah,
poor.
no, it's bad. It's bad. We're going to try and change that. Michael Holley, the inventor of the lightning round, is here. Please do not embarrass me because we have one call on the line right now, which is more than apparently you normally get.
Yeah. Give him the number. Give him
No,
the
no.
number. Give him the parameters.
617-779-0985. Dare I say it's even agenda-free. You can talk about the Celtics. You can talk about the NBA. You can talk about the Bruins. You can ask Holley why he hates his children and sent them away for a month without their phone. And
They
is
already know.
And is excited. Yeah, but I want to dig into the why. Why do you hate your children? The lightning round, assuming Lockhart doesn't scare people away and they don't call. Then I'll just be
Give us
really
a call.
Then I'll be really embarrassed. It'll be bad. It'll be a bad look for me. Please don't. I grew up listening to Michael Holley. Don't make me look bad in front of him.
The world famous lightning round.
The world famous
lightning
round. A lot of pressure on me to do this right.
Now, if you really do it right, okay, I'm gonna put more pressure on you.
Okay,
McCarthy. If you really do it right, the origins of the this is a grassroots campaign. It had no sponsorship when it started. It was just. Hey, it was just a lightning round. And then it grew up. It got sponsorship. Can you get it sponsored for the Toucher and
Hardy
program? Can you get a sponsorship out of it?
Wow.
Well, we've been doing the email bit, as Nick calls it, and no sponsors yet, I don't believe,
come on.
So.
We can do better than the email bit.
The email bit.
The email.
Duh.
DA.
The email bit.
Let's do the email bit. I got an idea. Let's do the email bit.
My email here is way
The
too
email.
long. They refuse to give me McCarthy at 985thesportshub.com. It's too long. Nobody's going to write it down. Nobody's going to email.
Lightning round. Let's get
Which is a good reason why we have the phone calls.
We gotta get it going.
At 617-779-0985.
We're gonna get it sponsored today.
Do it next.
Can we use this for the radio?
Touch your.
Just shooting the breeze. Yep. Just kick back.
We
relax.
replaced the email bit with the phone call bit. I think we could.
Does he have
do
a
that.
problem with money coming into a show?
He does not. No.
Okay,
No.
That's
so,
good.
Yeah, I think
He
he'd be
likes
happy
money.
with it.
Unlike somebody else who I've heard, there's a story about that
There's
we
a
can get
story.
into
There's a story.
off the air at I am James Stewart on Twitter, who can maybe tell you that story. But yes, no, we can give Fred some sponsorships, some phone call. Oh yes, Fred, you like the phone calls? Okay, so I can't screw this up because Holley's here. It's a lightning round.
You got it.
You have to be fast.
It's
I
fun.
did this with him twice before.
He did a great job.
First one, not so great. Second one, we improved. I need to be quick on the trigger finger. Let's go to Frank and Gardner. Hi, Frank.
Hey, McCarthy, Holley, make it quick. Couple other people on the 98.5 network have been on this. I've been looking at Jaren Durant over the last 10 games ever since he
I'm going to let you go because you called him Durant.
Kevin
and it's
Durant.
The lightning
That's all
round.
right. That's okay.
He wants to know if Durant should be an all-star. Yes or no? Go, Holley.
We're not grammar geeks. Okay, call him Durant. Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
Yes.
Yeah, he's been killing it.
But
and he's been playing decent out center field too while he's out there.
Yeah, I'm more than fine with it.
Yeah.
But the other all-star candidate can't have too many because they're only, what are they, 4 games over 500 or something like that? I haven't checked the record today. How about Connor Wong?
Wong should definitely be an all-star.
Connor Wong.
What about Tanner Houck?
Houck should be an all-star, and Devers should be an all-star.
But damn,
There's 4
okay,
guys.
now we got too many guys. You're not even a playoff team right now. You can't have that many all-stars.
Of those 4, I think Duran should be 4th.
Really?
I think if you look at American League third baseman, Devers is definitely an all-star.
Okay.
Whereas you're going to be a little bit more crowded in the outfield.
Because we got Gunnar Henderson. He's definitely got to be in there for third, right?
Yep. Yeah, Devers should be there. So Duran, if he doesn't make it, I will not. I saw Milliken walk by. I will not lose my mind if he doesn't make it. How about Paz in Leominster? Hi, Paz.
Hey, how you doing?
Awesome. What's on your mind?
Just can we make it? Can we do it? Will we do it? Nice to talk to you guys, Holley and McCarthy. You're the best. Thank you.
You're the best too.
I think we can do it. Yeah.
Yes, we can definitely do it. We can make it until 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
The comment line said, "Can the Red Sox make the postseason?" We do need to clarify that.
In life, will we survive? Yes, we will.
It's an existential question.
Survive.
We got this.
I'm
not feeling so good. We're all day to day, Holley.
I believe
Come on.
in humanity. Yes.
Have you seen the way I've eaten this morning? I
We're
do not
resilient.
have much time
You
left.
did offer it though. You did
Yeah.
offer. You did offer it to the class.
Yeah, Ritz crackers.
Some Ritz crackers.
They did.
We
Turn
all
them down.
declined.
Yeah, weirdos. Can they make the postseason? Yes or no?
Yeah, they can make it if the front office is on board. Is Craig Breslow, are you your own guy, Breslow? Will you do something that defies upper management ownership? They don't want you to do it. Are you going to be on board with your teammate, your former teammate, Alex Cora? Or are you going to be on board with John Henry? I know the answer. I'm going to be on board with Henry.
I think they can make it.
But they should.
They do need to make a couple moves. They need a left-handed starter, maybe like a Tyler Anderson, maybe another bat. Maybe you can grab a Paul DeYoung, very cheap this year, somebody like that. But they do need to make some moves if they're going to.
Not only can they make it, they should make it with the competition in the American League. They should be a playoff team. Don't set any other expectation below that. JP in North Providence. JP.
Michael Holley, the voice of reason, knowledge on Boston Sports at Night. Way to end the day and fashion. That's my business. I love it, Michael. McCarthy, I'm all aboard with the Bruins move. We're solid, but as a Bruins fan, Game 2 will be wanting to fire somebody and make a move in between periods. I like the moves. Thank you, Sweeney. You did something. McCarthy, what's the over-under on your Red Sox bet this year?
It's not looking good. I bet the under, and I'm not feeling great about that.
See, there we go. You see that call?
Mm-hmm.
You see that? That's the spirit.
The lightning round.
Got in.
How many takes? I mean,
many
takes.
Multiple topics.
A bunch of takes contained. Remember we talked about Windows. It comes back to Windows in radio. He didn't even extend. He didn't go to the full window. He had about 45 seconds. He did it in about 36 seconds.
We can do an even faster lightning round.
He talked about fashion. He talked about the Red Sox. Gave a compliment. Thank you very much.
JP is consistently a good caller.
That's
Always.
good stuff.
Always.
JP, that's what I'm talking about.
We can do better. Justin in the mail truck. Hi, Justin.
It's McTakey, Holley, Lockhart. Thank you for entertaining us, and I hope that you get some breaking news before the end of your show. That's it. Thanks, guys.
I like
agree.
it.
Thanks. We're heroes.
Thank you,
Complete
Justin.
heroes.
We got 8 minutes We got 8 minutes before the Swayman signing. 8 minutes. We had 9:34 now. We're looking at 9:42. 9:42. Good stuff, Justin.
Nick in Rockport. Hi, Nick.
Gentlemen, regarding Mr. Casas over there at first base, I think it'd be a great move to sell high, move him out. I'm not buying the hype. I'm not buying the act. For my money, I think he's a left-handed Bobby Dahlback.
Oh, come on.
They're not trading.
I love it.
Zero chance they're trading.
I love what he's saying. And by the way, can I just say this? This has been on my mind for a while. Did you guys see the quote from Casas? Did you see his quote
That
about
mental swings? Dry swings?
No, okay, well.
Which
got,
Casas quote?
Yeah, Casas.
This is the lightning round. How many Casas quotes do we have, Holley?
He's got a lot of quotes for a guy who is a left-handed Bobby Dahlback. But he had a quote of, they were asking him about the parade. Hey, did you watch the Celtics parade? And, you know, all these Red Sox players saying, oh, it was great. You know, it was good to see the city like that. I can't wait until, you know, it inspires me. Casas, who has done nothing, says, well, I'm sorry. That was fine. If they got that for the Celtics, there's no comparison like a baseball parade. How do you know? How do you know about it? You were barely around in 2018.
Yeah, you've just been drafted.
You've just been drafted.
Single A.
You hadn't accomplished anything. He's sitting there crapping on a Celtics parade, saying there's nothing like a baseball parade when you can't even play every day.
Yeah, he should see a Bruins parade.
What
Those
are you
crazy.
talking about? What?
That's not even the craziest thing he said in the week.
I know it's not.
The dry swings?
I know.
You ever take dry swings? You ever try to manifest things out in the world, Holley?
But the phrasing just the dry swings it just takes me mentally somewhere I don't need to go. So no, I just don't like the phrasing of it.
No, dry swings?
No, dry swings.
Sounds like my Saturday nights in college. Riz in East Providence. Hi, Riz.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon. Jesus Christ, where the hell is my head?
Feels
good
like
morning.
Afternoon.
What's up, Riz?
First and foremost, shout out to the Twitch fam, my boy Holley, Lock Hunk, looking all good as usual.
Thank you.
McCarthy. Hey, Holley, I just want to say it is a pleasure hearing you on the radio. Definitely miss you, fam. But can you explain to these folks why we call John Wallace from all these years? Because I still call him Wallace, man. Hey, y'all have a good fourth.
You too, Riz.
All right, good stuff. Thanks, Riz. Thanks. Good to be back. Oh, John Wallach is the great. The legend, John Wallach.
The Eagle. But
at the time, there was a guy. Who was a guy who played for Syracuse and wound up playing for the Knicks? John Wallace. John Wallace. So he's calling him John Wallace. That's it.
Back in the EEI days for you.
Bruins are back from the West Coast. John Wallace.
You would have worked. Was Wallach your update guy?
Yeah.
Wallach was great. Yes.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, was the update guy in a very strange studio setup. It was like kind of like an L-shaped thing, but then the update guy was like in a box.
Yeah, he was in a booth.
I thought he was down in Providence.
It was not a booth. It was a box.
Wow.
It was supposed to be a booth, but it was a box.
We kind of had that during COVID here. It's like we'd put the update guy in the hot box, we used to call it, our backup studio.
Couldn't look here. You had to turn around.
It's like, oh, yeah, look, you're back there. Yeah.
But he did an awesome job.
No wonder the headlines guys didn't get any respect. You had to turn
around.
Yeah,
you had to turn around. You had your back to them.
Yeah, that's weird.
Count it.
We're all inclusive here. We welcome our headlines guys into the studio. Mike Lockhart is in here today. It's been good to have him.
Oh, thanks.
And I mean that, truly. That's not me being a douche, which I normally am. It is legitimately good to have
you. And if you didn't like having him, you just wouldn't say anything?
Correct.
Just wouldn't mention it.
I wouldn't say that. I would just
let
go about my day and let him do his thing.
How do you like that?
I do like having Lockhart here very much. Thank you, Wallach.
Good stuff.
How was the lightning round?
No, it was I'll give it about a B+.
No, was that because of my management of the
calls?
It was more of the callers.
There was one in there. We had a little stall, little delay. I didn't mind the Durant thing. That was fun.
One guy didn't mention any the Red Sox.
Right,
he was talking about the Red Sox.
No, that's fun too. I'm accepting of the errors and the imperfections. That's what makes it great.
That's life. Very philosophical
but
here.
It's got to be a little bit faster.
We can make that happen.
Tighten that thing up a little bit.
People aren't used to that here in the morning. They're not used to calls. They're not used to engaging with the people.
So
Fred
maybe
doesn't
it's
need just only via email. It's very impersonal on this program.
So in a vacuum,
you guys should do a little bit more, in-person type stuff.
Well, I'm going to change the
Lockhart.
grade then. I'm going to
Think
change the
about
grade
it.
because in a vacuum it's a B plus. But based on the context of hey, they usually don't get calls, it's an A minus.
Solid.
Because I mean, just out of nowhere, you get what? We're doing calls. I'm not used to calls.
Surprises people.
I'm used to the email bit.
You can train people. 2 o'clock, no matter what. You just open those phone lines, all of them loaded. They're used to it.
Yeah.
Not in the mornings.
No.
You can. It's amazing. You can condition the people.
We get calls on non-sports stuff. Like when we talk non-sports, full phone.
Well, non-sports. Hey, lightning round can take that too.
Sure.
Non-sports.
As I said, it's agenda free.
Yeah.
Hey, we have the
But
stack.
you have to say it. You have to say like, okay, the best concert you've seen, and something like that.
We can go off the rails for the next 20 minutes of the program as we lead you into
Best
Zolak and
weed you
Bergeron.
smoked. Like what that kind of stuff.
Yeah, the best weed that Holley smoked, and maybe that explains why he hates his children. And he sent them away for a month. We continue. It's Holley, McCarthy, Lockhart in for the guys.
Sports Hub headlines.
NBA and NHL free agency keeps going. Celtics have signed Jason Tatum to the NBA's richest deal, 5 years, $314 million. Derek White has also signed a 4-year extension for $125. Bruins got into the mix. They signed Elias Lindholm to a 7-year, $54 million deal. Lindholm's 29. He had 5 goals, 5 assists in 13 playoff games in 2024. They also signed his teammate, Nikita Zadorov, to a 6-year, $30 million contract. Both played in Vancouver last year. Jake DeBrusk heads to Vancouver on a 7-year deal. Sox are back in action tonight. They're in Miami. Cutter Crawford gets the start for the Red Sox. First pitch, 6:40. Sox are 8.5 games behind New York, and Baltimore a game and a half out of the wild card. And the U.S. men's national team lost 1-0 to Uruguay in the Copa America. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by the New England Revolution. Don't miss post-game fireworks showcase Wednesday, July 3rd, right after the New England Revolution match against Atlanta United FC. Kickoff is set for 7:45 p.m. Get your tickets now at revolutionsoccer.net. I'm Mike Lockhart on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Stay tuned for more Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Head to Patriot Place tonight for a patriotic fireworks spectacular, including live entertainment, family-friendly activities, photo ops, and more. It all leads up to the main event with fireworks at 9:15. Go to patriot-place.com.
Custom strategies to help people pursue their retirement goals. Our 365 retirement plan process works every day of the year, so you don't have to. Call us at 617-440-9365 or visit 365retirement.com.
Investment advisory services offered through Retirement Wealth Advisors, Inc. Insurance offered through R&L Insurance Agency.
The question always comes up, where to take your vehicle for reliable and trustworthy service, whether it's repair or just maintenance. I know just the place. Meineke Car Care is your one-stop shop for total car care. They handle engines, brakes, oil, tires, and yeah, they do mufflers too. Each Meineke is independently owned and operated. That's why I trust them to handle the maintenance of my personal vehicle. Meineke prides itself on providing exceptional customer service. Go to Meineke.com for the location near you and schedule an appointment today. Trust your key with Meineke, doing car care right.
For over 80 years, JB Sash & Door has been New England's leading window and door dealer.
And for over 20 years, we've been proud to offer Marvin Windows and Doors.
Marvin provides a perfect solution for
Holley, as your air drumming again. Elite air drumming skills from Holley that our friends on Twitch and YouTube have been able to enjoy this morning.
Glad to display this for you.
Some headbanging going with our intro.
Got it going. The music today was outstanding.
Ryan Beaton, young Ryan Beaton back there.
Outstanding Beaton.
Nobody better.
Where did you find all these new beds? We've been asking for new beds.
I've just been finding like instrumentals on the internet, I guess.
I mean, better than did I see T-Bone walking here earlier?
Way better than T-Bone.
All right, now listen, T-Bone usually does a really good job.
Usually. Let's not go that far.
But no, yesterday I was listening because listen to the show, listen to the station. T-Bone puts on this alternate version of "All I Do" by Stevie Wonder. So I don't know who that was. I don't know what imposter was doing that. And I texted Beetle. I said, "What's going on here? What are we doing?" He said, "No, talk to T-Bone. Threw him right under the bus. Talk to T-Bone about this."
Well, you'll get to see him. He'll be here in a few minutes.
Now, I'll run from him. I mean, T-Bone
is a scary dude.
I mean, he's a little scary. So I'll say,
nice guy. He's not going to do anything.
So I'll say, "Hey, good to see you, man. How you doing? Hey,
Mike,
hey."
It's always the nice people you got to worry.
The quiet ones.
The quiet ones.
Yeah.
Those are the ones who are going to snap. Like I've always said, like who at the station, would I least like to fight? Honestly, Tyler Milliken. There has to be a lot
of rage in there.
A lot of
fighting with the shirt off.
And he'd pull out like a weird weapon, like a hacksaw. Or
Oh yeah, he would.
He would fight dirty. Who could you take down at the station? Holley.
Who can I take down?
Yeah.
Oh man, last time I got in a fight, man, I was put out for a little bit. So it was years ago. So probably I think I'm probably your number 16 seed in this. No, I don't. Without the upset, 16 seed does not knock it off the one. So I can't see anybody I can take out here.
Lockhart, who could you take out?
Everybody but Tom and Zolak.
Wow, so you're feeling pretty good.
Yes.
You're feeling pretty good about
Zolak, huh?
He's just too big.
Yeah.
Size difference. Yeah.
He
I
could
think
get tired.
Zolak really wants to fight, though. Does he want to fight?
No, but it's just that one punch factor. He throws one haymaker and it catches you just right.
Yeah. It's going to land. I more think about the people I wouldn't want to fight.
How about Felger? Take out.
Oh,
Felger?
I could take him out.
Felger. Felger doesn't want to
take him
fight.
out. I think I could take out everybody on Felger and Maz. Sure. Except maybe Stu.
No, Big Jim. No, you can't take out Big Jim.
Big Jim and I are about the same size.
But no, he might be.
You're right. There's
he might be crazier. He's crazier. No.
So those are the people that worry me. It's the crazy people. Like Hardy, such a nice guy, but so much pent-up anger there.
Yeah.
That's the last guy you want to encounter in a fight.
Yeah,
Milliken, again, last guy you want to encounter in a fight. He has just taken a beating from T-Bone and really the world and everybody. Is he just going to snap? And in that moment, is he going to snap like Ralphie from A Christmas Story and not mess around with him?
He's like the Mankind of the sports hub. You could throw him off like a 30-foot ring, and he would just get back up.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hardy is one of those dudes that you think the fight is over, everybody's calm, 10, 15 minutes, people have come in, you're doing kind of like a debrief of what happened, and then he comes back in. He comes back in for more. So, you don't want to mess with him.
No.
That's some craziness there.
No, there's some real crazy. And it's only going to get more exacerbated by the fact that he's working mornings down. Because, Mike, as you know, working mornings turns you into a crazy person.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
So, yeah, I mean, Hardy, the last person you would want to... He might be at the top of the list. A lot of anger.
He's already feeling it in the mornings, trust me.
Can't say I blame him.
Yeah.
And that's only going to get worse. Yep. The more sleepless, the more sleepless you get, the crazier you get, and he's going to snap.
Michael asked me yesterday
going to snap.
How long it took to get used to this.
Listen to this answer.
And actually, I was thinking about it later in the day. I told him 5 years.
They told me 5 years.
But when you truly think about it, I really never get used to it.
No,
I never feel normal until I'm off for a week or two.
You never will. As somebody who did morning radio for 6.5 years, I mean, not that I'm going to tell you, you've done this for 15. You will never feel normal.
Yeah.
You will never feel not tired. And you'll eventually just descend into a pit of madness.
Yeah.
So it's really been nice to know you, Mike.
Yeah,
but
happiness left years ago.
And the crash comes at what time? Noon.
Yeah, no, noon.
12:30.
Noon hits me hard.
Napping schedule huge.
Oh, yeah, especially the summertime's the best because the kids get off the bus at 4:30 instead of 2. So it's much better. Yeah.
So wait, you send your kids away too?
One of them is in day camp.
Day camp, though.
So
this is day camp.
What we've determined is that you and Holley want nothing to do with your children in the summer, and you just send them away.
Yes. Yeah.
Dads of the year right here. Wow.
That's great.
You don't have kids, do you?
No, I do not. No.
If you do, you'll be sending them away
This is the key
someday.
to
Trust me.
it. This is the key to staying sane.
Right. The amount of judgment that I'm passing on.
Lots
to
of
people with
opinions
children.
and anger, and it's not fun usually being a parent, but I guess that's what it's about.
There you're at.
Especially with teenagers.
Oh my God.
Teenagers. Come on.
You guys
Think about yourself, McCarthy, as a teenager, and how you would manage that. How would you manage a teenage you?
Believe it or not, I was a delight as a
No, you
teenager.
think so.
No,
No, you
I
think
was.
you were.
I was a delight.
Is this
I was
confirmed?
No, I was a tougher kid. I was a
Okay.
tougher 5, 6, 7, 8-year-old kid. I was a delight as a teenager. I had already acted out. Whatever. I didn't need to cause my parents any trouble. They're delightful people.
Okay.
Well, so yeah, by the time I was a teen, I'm like, I'm good. I mean, was I mopey? Sure, but like,
Okay, so that's the stuff.
yeah.
What's the deal
Is
with
the
that?
mopiness? You
Yeah.
send them away for a month just
Okay,
because they're mopey.
that's right.
Yeah.
Now you're getting it.
There you go. Yeah, no. Oh, no phone for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll see you in August.
Control the phone. You control everything. You can control the mopiness, the moodiness, everything with the phone.
Yeah. Whenever I take the phone away,
That's it.
The response I get is, I don't care, but you know they care
Oh, they
so
care.
much.
They care. And just wait for them. You just wait. They don't have to wait that long.
I could get into that power trip. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You get apologies. You get thoughtfulness.
Dishes get done.
I mean, that's right. Things get done. Control the phone. Control everything.
Yep.
No, I could do the power trip. Why do you think I do this? Control the phones, control a radio show.
You control the phone
Yes.
right now.
Yes, I do. Wow. Talk about the phone, not just the phones. The phone. All right. 30 seconds because we're up against it here. I need to get your thoughts on Paul George and Klay Thompson and what's gone on around the NBA before we get out of here, Holley.
Klay Thompson, quickly, why do people think that you don't have to play defense? We never learn our lessons. We never learn our lessons when we talk about NBA in the offseason. How did this team do? The Dallas Mavericks added a third guy who is not a strong defender. So now they've got Kyrie, Luka, and Klay Thompson. Don't talk to me about winning a championship when you don't have people who can play defense. And Paul George, nice addition for Philadelphia, but he is not out of the three wings I'm going to name, he's the third best one. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Paul George. He's the third best one. Celtics, he's good for Philly, but the Celtics have better guys.
Holley, Lockhart, this has been fun.
It has.
I've appreciated it. Ryan Beaton, great work today. Kyle Fabrizio, Milliken's cousin.
Yeah.
And in 5 seconds, U.S. men's national team.
Disaster. Fire
There you
Berhalter. Disaster, disaster, disaster. Did I need to spend any more time on that? No, I don't think so. We got Beetle,